That's why I can't complain, because like I'm really calm, but he sees me. If he's my cats watch me podcast, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
So he's like, "What you mean I'm matching your energy? Why you want me to calm down? You're
so
screaming,
your cat
laughing."
sees you like. See, that's funny. When I'm like rapping for whatever I'm doing, like I'm performing, I'm freestyling, I'm doing songs, and I'm on live, so I'm just doing it at my phone. My dog is looking at me like what's going on, Dad? Like, what are we trying to do?
Let's go time. Let's go time.
Yeah, he gets it.
That's why I can't judge. Like, I'm telling you, I needed this cat before I have kids. I'm not a pet lover. I'm not an animal lover. My clients forced me to kind of adopt this cat. And, like, I was actually scared because they live longer than dogs. I'm like, fuck, if I take this cat now, he's going to be alive when I eventually get a house, have kids, when my career, he'll be old when my career is starting. That's a crazy thing to, maybe that was me.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if it was me or not.
That's like a crazy concept.
Yeah.
Maybe to me, like, you know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean. Just the idea of a pet being around for that long. I mean, it's a short amount of time, but a long amount of time. Because it's what, 12 years, 15 years?
They live to 20, right?
Yeah. I mean, Oscar right here, he's about, if I'm lucky, 20 years. I think it's the same with, because smaller dogs live longer. I think, I might even be wrong with him. It's probably closer to 15. It's wishful thinking, because I'm thinking it's like Chihuahuas and those little tiny dogs that make it to 2020.
2020. How old is he?
He's 9.
Oh,
Oscar's 9.
You an old boy.
This is why I'm saying these things. It's my bias showing. I'm like, please, dear God.
Now, are you...
Give me 10 more.
Are you an animal person your whole life, or is this new?
I've always had animals around me. So I think I'm just like, it happened to me to be an animal person. Like I had dogs around. I had cats around. I would say I used to claim that I liked cats more, but there's no way anymore I could say such a thing. I had a cat that had kittens once, and it was just... You never smell cat pee like that. You never experience things like that. You know, once they start crawling around the house and destroying things, at first it's cute. At first it's like, oh my God, this is like the beauty of life. And then it just changes real fast.
Okay, but now
I learned my lesson, guys.
Now I'm torn though, because like you said, nurture. We were talking about nurture versus nature.
Okay.
Kittens are annoying, but getting a cat who is already set in their ways might be worse. You know what I mean? Like, it was terrible raising my cat, but he is much calmer now. And in fact, the people who I adopted my cat from, they no longer knew how to control him. In fact, I think that I had to be the one who raised him, because he was like the alpha cat. He ended up being the biggest of the litter, literally looking down at his parents. Like, he had his dad was like a white cat, his mom was gray something. All the cats were black, and my cat was the only orange cat. And I was like, all right. You know, I guess I wanted a black cat, but I was like, he must be special. And that's why. And I kind of tell people, it's just like the love story. I saw us choose each other. I'm not a pet person. I took him home. I remember he wouldn't like sleep without me closing my eyes. We were just staring each other down. As like, I just moved into my apartment, so nothing was there but a mattress on the floor and a box. And he was like, who are you? I'm like, who are you, motherfucker? And I was even scared to take care of him. I went to PetSmart. I asked for help. So I don't know what to do. And I just said to say we've had a nice bond. And then we fought a snake together.
What?
His first week. That's when I knew, I think, we chose love. That's why I said we chose love. A snake ended up in my apartment, and he coiled back, and I reached. And my friend was like, what the fuck are you about to do? I'll take the bite for him. I didn't know that cats could destroy snakes, so that was dumb.
Whoa.
And so no one believed us. The apartment thought we were high. It was a white snake, too. And so my friend kicked it out the apartment, and I was like, no, take a photo. And when we went out to look for it, it disappeared. So was it there, or were we?
No, it had to have happened. I mean, that's just too good to be true. Or too... I see.
A white snake?
I see your point.
I live in Indiana. White snake. We looked it up. They're not indigenous there. It was 6 to 7 a.m. in the morning. I also wear glasses. I'm blind as fuck. And more. It was just we have a lot of weird things like that. My barber was like, you saw the Matrix glitch for a second. And no one's going to believe you. And so we can get into that whole
It'd be like if we saw an alligator right now and we were like, no, I swear. We were doing a podcast and there was an alligator.
And like, I'd be mad because like there's probably a storyline as to how the alligator got here at this point in time.
Yeah. But it just sounds, it sounds fake.
Growing up, my real truths sound wilder than lies. So I just started lying because no one believed the truth.
Wow. Do you have any other real truths like that?
Oh yeah, I'm about to get fired at my job now because my boss has a stutter and I can't learn from him. And I didn't know how to tell him that, so I told our bigger boss, and he calls the meeting, and now he's hurt. He's like, "Oh, so you think I'm slow?" I was like, "Nah, you just talk too slow, and I can't." How do you deal with that problem? And like,
You hurt his feelings. He's feeling some type of way.
and he hates it, but like the perspective is
Damn,
like,
what are you supposed to say? I mean, maybe there's like... See, I think even if you were as direct as possible, that probably wouldn't work out. Like, even if you said directly to him, listen, it's not you. It's nothing about you. It's just that I'm having trouble. It's me, because I'm having trouble understanding and I can't follow, and I think that's hindering my work, and I think I could be a better worker and I could provide more to this team. And it's not you. It's just the fact that I want to learn, and I thought I should bring this up if I wanted to be better. Maybe you could say it, but I feel like even then he's gonna still...
He hates me. In my work evaluation, the only reason why I had to bring it to our boss was he says Marlon is choosing not to learn. I'm like, you gonna act like you don't stutter? And I don't want to be mean, but I'm like, he had the nerve to tell me, hey, look over my shoulder while I type on this computer, and I'm gonna explain to you what I'm doing. Says what every 2 to 3 words. So I'm fidgeting like I got ADHD, but it's you said an unbelievable story. I'll give you this because I used to do in film, and everybody's like, the shit that happens to you needs to be a movie, but it's too much bullshit. So I'm gonna start making movies that are like 1 week. You know those premises where it's in 24 hours? 2 weeks ago, so I just started the summer tour. We're in Missouri the other week, we're in Chicago this week, we're in Cali in 2 more weeks, and then Atlanta. And like, and I said to say it's a struggle tour, by the way. Ain't nothing, I'm budgeting what I can. So I need every dollar. How to explain this? We met with the Cali venue owner Saturday. He was like, you need to start doing more content to promote this. I said, I got you. Next day, my laptop dies. Fuck me. Monday, we got it back on, but like your CPU's dying. You got to spend some money. So I spent like 200 plus to get a 5 terabyte hard drive to start transferring the shit. Left the show the next day on Tuesday. There's a boot on my car. As we were leaving the show, like, all right, fuck y'all. Wednesday, and they're closed on Juneteenth, which was Thursday. So I had 24 hours to get my car out. While we're doing that, my boss quits my job. I've been working another job on the side without telling my boss. So that required the company, basically the company's focusing on me now, right? Found out from the government they're holding our paycheck. So I'm not getting paid from the side job that I was bullshitting the other one on. The next day, my bank account got hacked and everything else. And we had to pay for all this shit. And remember, the tour is about to start. I got hacked on the weekend, so my bank account's like, hey, it doesn't count until it's a weekday, so we can't fix your shit. And we won't get the money back to you until the first day you start your tour, which should be the following week. It got to the point to where it was negative 400 in my account. I'm like, why are y'all letting this man take all his money? They're like, because it's a Sunday. We can't look at it. Yeah. And then
That's crazy. I thought they're supposed to have like 24-hour, like fraud, and you would imagine that would be...
They stopped me at Walmart for spending $200, but they didn't stop this fucker. He spent $200 in Arkansas at a discount tire. Yeah. That was just one of the purchases. So I just had to say...
That's a tire. That's one tire.
That's motherfucker. And there was 15 transactions.
Yeah.
That at least I caught or so before they were like, hey man, you good? Clearly no. And then my nephew was also born during all this too in the week. So like I'm trying to FaceTime. My mom's crying like, look, I'm like, Mike, I'm fucked up over here. I'm glad. There's love in my heart for him, but my car got a boot. My bank account's negative. I can't let my nephew see me like this. I gotta.
Yeah. So life kind of happens to you all at once in this way.
And that's just one. That's literally 8 days, 9 days. Then the following week the tour starts, and now we're in the second week of the tour, and I'm pretty sure. So that's affected this whole tour, right? I couldn't buy. I don't have my tickets for the Cali trip. I'm supposed to be covering Airbnb, and so it's gonna be an inevitable more stories to come along. And I always tell people like, how bad do you want it?
Right.
Because that's the real story of an entrepreneur or an artist. It's not, beautiful.
Yeah. I was going to say right before we started that I feel like a lot of people, they're narrow-minded in the sense that they think they're only going to do one thing. Like they think that they can just do one thing and that's how it works. But I think like you have to do a bunch of things all the time. If you are being realistic, like if you really want to get to whatever imaginary point that you think is success in your mind, how do you get there? And it's almost always like doing so many more things than you are currently doing just to get somewhere close to what represents that thing in your mind, you know? And then you're never really gonna like I think like that whole thing is just all so abstract, like the idea of making it and success and all that. It's not real. Like none of that is real. But whatever that is to you, like, you know, most people put it so far away from themselves, and then they don't even do the things they'd have to do to even get close to it. It's just crazy to me. And like, you know, you do have to broaden your horizons and do all these different things. And I think in turn, like you just said, like that brings more problems and that brings more situations, but that's what you have to deal with if you want to get to that thing. You know, it's just like there's so much more than just like one good joke or one good song or one good show. It's like nothing like that.
I'm so over it. Like, it might be bad to say on camera. Like, I can objectively tell you I don't love stand-up like that.
Yeah.
So I haven't loved it for a while. Because, like, once you make a room laugh, what now? It's done. I was funny before stand-up. I never wanted to do stand-up. So I'm funny in real life. If stand-up ends, I can make people laugh. It doesn't matter, right? I'm a script writer. I'm a film writer, editor. I'll get it somewhere else. So I need to find to get my itch somewhere else. What stand-up gives to me is I can tell you to eat a dick, but I can't in the boardroom while making a film, right? So I'm gonna hate you while making this film, and I'm gonna sub you on stage, or like I had to find other ways. I'll put my foot in my mouth. I'll say something fucked up, or I've done the Dave Chappelle. I'll tell my joke backwards. Well, I already said the punchline. Now I've done Laugh Factory, where I'm sick right now, and I'm always sick when I'm performing. I think it's the stress, but like I got on stage, forgot my jokes 2 minutes in. I literally looked. I had 13 minutes left. I looked down, looked up, and I was like, "What y'all want to talk about?" Because I have blanked entirely. I had 2 cough drops in my mouth. I am on drugs right now, and I always talk about those moments because that'll make me like stand up later. Because my bad, that'll make you better at stand up. Because I perform never happy. So if I can do good performances and fucked up mindsets, my energy being bad, my mind all over the place, me having a good day is gonna kill the game. I told people, y'all ain't never see me really happy. So if I'm killing rooms to the degree while I'm so sad, wait till I have a good day. I don't even know what that's like. To wake up with no problems is crazy.
Yeah, like, whoa, all of a sudden I'm just
You know what I'm
happy. Yeah. I mean, and again, I don't know if that thing exists. I don't know if that thing is even real. I think it's like just an imaginary, beautiful thing. But I think like life naturally, like as you live longer, it might seem good, but there's always something just like lurking around the corner. Like I like to think that like the place that you're at right now, you might not realize it, but you're like on this balancing beam and everything's going good and it seems like it's going great. But if just one thing knocks that beam out from beneath you, it just all comes crashing down. And you don't realize it because everything's going great. But just when that thing comes, you're like, oh my God, how did I not? Oh, of course, everything was so good until that thing.
Have you experienced this? I've always said I only suck in real life. I've never failed in art life. But I don't know how to find that balance. I guess, and then also scared to take that full leap. Like my life was shitty. Like I said, I'm still all my shows have been successful on this struggle tour. But I am dying. Like I said, might get fired from my other job. Bank account in the negative. Boot on my car. It seems to never counterbalance. The better I get in what I'm supposed to do in life, which is create, and whatever that means, artistic. But my regular life, they're fighting each other, and trying to find or maybe know when to let it go. Lead into faith, right?
Yeah. That's
what I believe the step is now, and that's why I told you I got to lock down in business because I think I'm going to keep suffering. If I don't, I think the universe is like, look, you clearly know what's working. I don't know why you walking on this balance beam. And it's always happened in life. If I take too long, the problem will resolve itself.
But what is like the leap? Like what does that mean?
I just need to realistically focus in. You don't need that much technically. If you really think about music, a little different, but in stand up, I think people it's like almost drug dealing. You're gonna get the money right there. It might not be a lot, right? But if you perform multiple times, not put that like if you do the math with it, right, you really don't start making money in stand up.
It's a long-term investment, right? Is
Not
that
even
what you're
long
trying to
term.
say? Like you're not gonna make it now. It's gonna be a long time until you make money, but you just have to keep investing. Is it
No,
like
no.
that?
The flip side.
Okay.
That is the business of the brand. But right now, here's because I'm splitting my mind. If I wasn't so producer focused, I would already be a paid stand-up. Because if I'm doing a tour with a successful show that is done, I've done in multiple states now, which most people can't do, and it's a variety show. That means you already could have. So imagine if you take that time, I should have been a headliner by now.
Right.
So I'm spending 2 years going out of state pushing my brand's name more than my name. When you could have flipped that, and I at least should be able to make a minimum wage part-time job off of stand-up now.
Right.
If I would, so I'm splitting my long term. That makes more sense. A brand is worth more than an individual. Businesses would rather do deals with a business than just one individual will dump more money in.
Okay.
So that's a long-term investment, but I need to figure out how to push Marlon, the brand, enough, or push Marlon to the side and put my variants up even higher.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of them has to make a bare minimum.
I can't remember. I think it was more, better, bigger. I think that's what he told me. It was Tony Angelos. He's a realtor or a leasing agent. I want to say a realtor. And just the whole thing of like, if what you're doing, if you think it's not working, the first thing you do is do more. So just do more of what you're already doing. You think you're doing a lot, just do more of that. And then the second thing is do it better. Like now that you're doing more, do it better. If doing more didn't work, do it better. And then the third one is do it bigger. Like that's when you invest more money and you put more into it. And like after you already did those first two things, because sometimes it's just like, oh, I haven't seen this opportunity yet, but it's just because you sent one message instead of 10 messages to 10 different people. Like just random little things to put, and it depends where you're aiming, right? Because that's kind of, I think, the source of your struggle which, as you were telling me beforehand, has kind of always been your thing. You're just spreading yourself out real wide, and then it's hard. When you do that, it gets harder to narrow in. And that's my problem is I think I hyper focus on one thing at a time. I think what I'm really good at is doing one thing at a time, and it's hard to do them all at once. Like last year, I think I released 26 songs throughout the year, and the whole idea was like a single at about one, ideally one every week, but I think it was like one or two a month. And so then you try to do that this year if I'm doing a podcast every 3 days. And that's the logistics I'm trying to figure out in my brain now is how do I do the podcast every 3 days and then also do a song. Even just a month would be nice. That way it's 12 songs a year. I think doing singles makes more sense than releasing albums.
Yeah.
Just because people and their attention spans and the way marketing works and all these things. It's just makes more sense. And you're more consistent. You seem like you're there more if you're dropping a song every month. So there's all that stuff. But yes, it's finding a way to because that's where I'm at. I've been doing the podcast consistently for 6 months now, but how do I now reintroduce that consistency with the music and then keep that going? And I think a lot of that is like long-term planning and figuring out, okay, so I need to have 5 songs lined up. That's going to be this month. That's going to be this month. And then just getting that over with. And then I can just focus on what I'm doing right now. Because also, it's podcast clips, it's posting about the podcast, it's posting about music, it's being the manager of all those things, it's messaging people to even schedule these things. It's everything.
Now, and then from a brand standpoint, what's your angle? Because like I know online is such a thing, but we always tell people there is still an art that can't be beat. Like making people come out in real life, spending the tangible money the day of. That is still an art that will never go away. Like that's why radio can't go away. That is still the biggest market to attach. Even though like you're blowing up here, but I don't know if you heard I wish I remember what artist talked about it. He was like the checks are still better when you get more consistent radio play versus the streaming services that are divvying it up pennies on top of pennies. So it's like looking even at that. Like we were talking about it off before the podcast started. I had to minimize what I was doing online to not take away from the fact that I have real life audience people that will come out. Like my business partner was telling me for my birthday show in April, we had 60 plus people come out for my birthday. I marketed maybe in a few weeks. That he was like, stop Every struggle you're going on, that's an accomplishment. Yeah, you know, it wasn't the biggest venue, the nicest venue. Most people don't even have that for their birthday. He's like, don't forget that right there. You know, I think I did about 12 shows. I think we produced about 9 shows out of 12 months last year in 2 different venues in 2 or 3 different states. And about 70 to 60% were sold out. I never market if I sell a show out because that's not a regular for me. I don't want y'all. We're not bragging about selling out. We should be bragging about having a good show, right? But looking at those numbers, he's like, you got to look at it that way, right? And he's like, don't minimize what you're not doing. Look at what you can do because that consistency is crazy. Now, this year, I don't want to produce every month. I want to make it more quality. Now, this year, we're so far hitting 5 different states.
So instead of more, doing it better, like that thing. You've already done more. Now you want to do it better. So how do you do that? Like, how do you step it up then?
Ending this year, going into next year, I want to produce my show in a different state every month. Not for bragging points or not to look cool, but I need to space out my shows more so you can invest the proper money. So like starting next year, January and April in Chicago. That's already my mindset.
Okay.
So if I can't fill those rooms, now we have to, what is the issue? What's the problem? There's no reason, right? So between January to April, where will I be at? Could be Indiana, could be Ohio. We don't have to go crazy far. Could just be 2 hours away. Maybe Peoria. That's almost a different world. You know what I mean? It's like looking at that and like you said before, just properly investing. Because before I can really get into the online stuff, which we both need to, we need the clips. Think about it. It's a bare minimum to get 50 people out.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's also we're the top 3 biggest city in the country. Like, but we're so fluttered just to get 50 people out is literally a hard task, and we're talking about once a month, let alone weekends, right? And this can't become a part-time job if I can't get 100 people out minimum, whether that's 2 shows in a day or a whole weekend of shows. You gotta look at it at that point for it to even make sense. Because I wanted to make sense of your time. I never told you, but I was already looking. I do variety acts. I was already trying to find ways how to integrate you guys in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you know, but I have music acts.
Yeah.
We had them in. We've tried. And I remember someone asked me yesterday, how do you plan your shows? And I'm like, we plan to make it make sense. You know what I mean? People book off of friendships or they book off of talent. If I book you right, a weaker talent could go amazing on my lineup because they fuck with you. Just on that small thing, they're like, you know what? Y'all energy just worked for some reason. Like last night, most of my lineup was out of town. That was the first time in Chicago. So my only focus was to give them Chicago hospitality that I don't experience because this state is horrible. Which doesn't admit that we're such a mean scene. I know they're trying to be more friendly now, but a lot of comedy rooms aren't welcoming. So if I can give that to them, and it worked basically. And none of them knew each other, and we did improv games. And they all met 30 minutes before the show. And the fact that they had cohesion like that, and it all boils down to they trusted me, if that makes sense. I know we said a lot of fucking shit, but to make everything work better is I have to be a better businessman, producer, leader, and guide. And a lot of times I step away from my show. You know? Mm-hmm. Like I've noticed I might not be able to explain the stuff the best. And I'm like, I just start letting people like, hey, I'll let you lead this.
Right.
You know, so I think that's how they build trust in me. Like, hey, I'm trusting you. You trusted me to come do my show. I'm now going to trust you to give you a piece of my show. Because it's not about me. It's not my baby. I just want it to work. That's what a lot of people are saying. It's your baby. You should do it. Stop.
So what is like the philosophy behind removing yourself more and more from it? Like, why exactly does that make sense?
I said this off camera to you. A product doesn't have value if it consistently needs its creator a part of it. If the product really is like, you know, it's putting product, that bike, the guy who made that bike doesn't need him. You don't need him there to make that functioning for you, right? It still functions well. It does everything you need for it. It has a name brand value. You trust in it. Anybody can use it to make it work. Right. My show needs to work. If I put you in charge of it one day to direct it or lead it or host it, or maybe you're just doing my games, that's when you know a product makes sense. Now someone can invest in that. Now a New York branch can trust me giving money because he's seen my show work and I wasn't even on the lineup. You know what I mean?
Okay. Interesting.
Almost like the Denzel line. You talking about this Coke? What's that? Blue Magic. That's a you know it's I wish I remember that line.
Well, there's just something like in my mind that's really interesting, because I think that my aim ever since I started doing interviews and any of these things, I realized like it makes what I do represent so much more than me. And I think it makes sense to go that direction. And all of the best things that have come about for me have been through that mentality of like taking what I have and then giving that out to other people. And that just leads to things happening for the thing that I want to work out in the end, which is music and all this. That ends up getting opportunities. I basically, in my mind, I'm doing everything backwards. Like normally it's you just do music and you hope, like most of the time, even a podcast, it's not you're meeting people through a podcast. It's I have all these friends in the comedy world, so I'm going to start doing a podcast with all my comedy friends. I did it backwards. I met all these comedy people through a podcast. I always feel like in my mind, I'm just doing everything.
I was always curious because you don't do comedy?
Not at all. But I think like freestyle rap blends in pretty well. I think, and
that's
also
what I want you to do. For us, I don't know how to fully integrate it yet.
What have you seen what I do for roast battle?
Yes,
no?
yeah.
So I did that at Power Hour, and basically, like in my mind, it makes sense to, if you're trying to blend it in, like have a smooth transition. If I'm gonna do like a song or two, maybe like for the first 3 minutes, it's a freestyle where the whole thing is I wrote down things from throughout the show. So somebody made a joke about this, somebody made a joke about this, because the audience never sees this coming. And so then this guy's coming on stage. Oh, he's going to rap. Oh, interesting. Oh, what the fuck? He's mentioning all the things that just happened. So that's always a fun little trick to pull. And then you do the songs. So that way you get the freestyle and also you get the songs. That's been my method. It seems to work pretty well. It always, and again, like I've learned that it's really a simple like psychological trick. The audience is already primed to react to all the things I'm going to say. As soon as I mention something, they're like, "Oh, he said the thing!" Like, and I set it up. So, and I can. It's so easy. Like, give me something to set up. I'll set it up in two. Sensitive skin. I see that over there. Yo, check it. This is the dimension I'm in. I came from outer space. I got sensitive skin. I'm like an alien, a reptilian. I got scales and shit. I ain't your friend. I came to. I just keep going.
And see, I want the rehearsals of that. Like, is that because I used to rap battle? But I feel. I'm actually worried about what I'll say. Do you ever feel like that's why I want to also take myself off the show. I'm a dark person in real life. Like, if you ever do a real roast session with me, we're talking about your dead parents, your grandmother never loved you, how gay you are, your bad knees, like your credit. Like, I will kill you in 7 days. Like. Does that ever happen to you? Like,
well, I was worried about that with the whole roast battle thing to begin with, because I'm thinking like, or even just these freestyles, because I'm thinking like, what? I'm not a comedian. I have no practice in what I'm allowed to get away with. So it's like, but I think that rap rides, as long as I'm just focused on doing what I'm doing, I think that all of that just works as so far. I've like went to places where I've been told like, hey, you got to be careful here. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if you understand what I'm doing. Like, there's no filter I could put on this.
Like, when they say that, I go harder. Like, what do they love here? Because I'll shit on it. I'll go to people's cities. Fuck your city, what you love, and then go backwards. But the energy is good. But what you're doing, you can train comedy. It's not what everybody thinks. Like. There's literally a mathematical science to comedy.
It's a craft for sure. Yeah.
But I always say like fucking math, like 60-second joke. You really shouldn't write jokes past 60 seconds until it develops. At least you want 3 laughs per minute, right? And so you write the joke for 40-second-ish because those laughs with some breather rooms will extend it to 60 seconds. Not everybody has to go that. Some people are more long-winded, but just look at that basic premise. Why couldn't you do that? You could literally teach anybody to say something funny for 30 to 40 seconds with a couple of punchlines they now have a minute joke.
So for the record, I don't think I couldn't. I think I definitely could. I just think that it would be a whole... we spoke about spreading yourself out and doing a lot of things. It would just be a whole other thing. And I already know the amount of hurdles I'm going to have to jump through just to get good at that. Like, maybe I'll be okay at first. Maybe I'll even be good. But to be, like, great and to be, like, notable and to be somebody that's... Because I can rap great. And I'm almost worried about, like... I'm thinking, damn, dude, like... I'm good now. Like, I come in, I impress people. Like, if I just start doing that, they might start looking at me differently.
That freestyle.
They'll watch me fail. They haven't seen me fail yet.
You know what? Leaning into it, I will say that's a good thing about stand-up. I kind of like letting jokes bomb. That makes sense?
No, I think that's good. I think it's good for you.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, this is what I always say is I think music people are nice to you. And no matter what, you could be bad. People are just generally, and they're nice. But like comedy, you bomb, you fail. It's sad. That doesn't really happen in music so much. It's like, it's a whole different experience in music. Like, you might not really get a reaction, but that's not as painful as telling jokes and then nobody responding at all. Like, it just hurts.
I've had someone turn their back to me. That's the craziest. Like, I literally reached out for help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Man turned his back around. I was like,
was it another comedian?
Yeah, no, it was an audience member. Like, I bombed in front of like 100 something people, and then had my Laugh Factory debut and like killed in front of 200. So thank God for that. But I think I needed to. Imagine you needed to bomb in front of 100 before you do Laugh Factory, right? Imagine being big headed for Laugh Factory and you just, I'm a killer, and then you bomb at Laugh Factory for your debut. And the funny thing is, I only got the debut because I was roasting this random person in the crowd, and he was like, I want my get back. And he said, I'm gonna put you on my show. And then he roasted me before he brought me up. Turned the crowd against him, like, he's not even funny. Fuck this dude, blah, blah, blah. And you felt the room. But I come from a battle rap world. So like, when I used to start comedy, I used to say bars. Because I didn't understand the writing structure, even punchlines really. So I just know how to say witty things cleverly, bars. So like, I was ready for the battle basically. And it was energetic room in Laugh Factory. I haven't felt that experience since then, because they're like, oh, what's next? And if you know how to, that's what I said.
That's what I like about that stuff too, is I think you can, like, if you do it right, people get into it and they feel like something's happening. They really feel like they're like a part of something. Like,
and I
that's
won, by
what's
the way.
So fun. And
I bodied his ass.
And you won.
Because you got to clap. That's why I said transitioning from rap would be so good, because, you know, especially writing songs, you got to really, I don't like to waste bars. I don't know about you. Every bar for me,
me neither.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
well, dude, I was thinking about that. Sensitive skin, mention, man. Like, I'm always like trying to do like 4 or 5 syllable. I do like crazy rhymes.
Alliteration, syllable.
I have to, because in my mind, it's like what I said to you before about if I have 5 minutes. Every single thing matters. Like, this is my moment to prove to you that I can do what I'm claiming I can do. So why would I not take that seriously? It just doesn't even, and like, it to the point where it's almost a problem. Like, I can't write a song where I'm not doing all that. I'm always analyzing it and I'm sure comedy would be the same for me. I would, like, every joke I would be like, why the fuck did they not laugh? And then I'd spend the next 3 days like, thinking.
Okay, I had to hit that opposite. Now that I am open, you know, when you first start comedy, you're only getting 5. You're lucky if you get 10. Yeah. Now they're literally waiting for me to do 20 plus. And I'm like, damn, I can't write as concise as I used to. Now I have to learn to just blabber. Because they don't, if you notice, you don't expect headliners to be funny per minute. You expect newbies. But if I know your name, they have time, like, you know, he could smoke a cigarette on stage or could take a drink. Like, that's crazy, right? My mom died. You'll just let him talk about that, and you're assuming Dave Chappelle will make this funny at some point. We'll take that journey with him. Marlon, who's this guy on stage for 5 minutes and my mom died, and I only tell one punchline? Come on.
That doesn't exist at 5 minutes, right? But once you start getting to like 20, that's where you can start pacing things out completely differently. That's really interesting, yeah.
Think about it.
Because I mean, like, comedians will always tell you, like, they assemble things basically on like 4 or 5 minute chunks. But I never really thought about that at a certain point. And I've also, I think it was Zach Albers that said to me, like, it's interesting watching some people when they do their 5 minutes, because you just watch them and you think, that's good for what it is, but like, could they do that for 20? Could they do that for 30 minutes? Because a lot of people, if you really think about it, they probably couldn't. Like that, what they're doing right there, they would have to kind of switch it up if they were going to be doing 20. But what you just said to me, it kind of like lit the whole light bulb. Like, holy shit, you can't do those like, I'm going to sit on the stool, I'm going to hang back, I'm going to say something, and I'm going to start talking in this pace. See how and I'm just going to do that for
you feel that energy?
A while. And I think, yeah, I get it. Just doing that, I get it 100%.
Now, I will say...
you can't do that.
I can't. I'm a high energetic guy. In fact,
and like with that economy of time in your mind, you're thinking, I'm wasting my 5 minutes. And that's another thing. I think it was Zach Albers. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Aaron Chase. Some comedian told me, like, that's another thing you'll see a lot of starting comedians do. They'll rush and they'll go fast and they don't slow down. They don't even know how to slow down. But that's just something you'll see in all comedians that are starting, is they go faster and then over time they learn to kind of pace themselves. But it's just because you're on stage, you want to get everything out. I got so much time.
But I used to give them pushback because I did theater and speech, right? So if they want to go technical, people used to always tell me I talk fast, and I'm like, words per minute is speed. My pacing is fast. I don't pause a lot.
Right.
And I'm changing my tonality all the time, and my inflection is always changing. So I'm giving you the perception of, you feel the intensity and the energy, but speed is, I think words.
Yeah, so I'm a server, and so I'm like going up to tables, and I work in the South Loop, so it's like in this place, you're going to get a lot of people who are tourists. They barely know English, right? So it's like, hi, my name is White. I'm going to be your server today. We've got Pepsi products. If you want anything other than water, it's going to be Pepsi. And also deep dish pizza is about 40 minutes. Thin crust pizza is about 30 minutes. Everything else on the menu is about 10 to 15 minutes. Did you guys need any drinks right now? Are you ready? Or do you want me to?
And then
I said that really fast, but even if you don't speak English, you heard Pepsi, you heard 30 minutes, you heard all the stuff you had to hear, you heard. And also I'm pointing at the menu while I'm doing this.
But
I make it real easy. It's a lot of things.
You have a good word.
That's why, I mean, the rap skills actually do come in handy there.
Now, I'd be curious how you feel about this. I actually deconstruct the opposite. Since I'm a trained actor, I refuse to show you my acting skills unless I'm acting. So I want to talk sloppier when I do stand-up, because when I started, they used to tell me, you're talking too proper. And again, I started on the South Side, so that's a pretty bad dig. They basically feel like, you're not one of us. And so I actually I leaned into my lisp more, but if you ever hear me act, it's entirely different. And you'll hear, if you ever see the longer I talk in stand-up, you'll hear me, I can't control it. I'll change my tonality. Now I get lost in the sauce. You'll hear me go into moments of more clarity, or I'll go into my deeper range or my louder one, and then you'll see me sit back and go back lazy.
Right.
Like I have to actually practice. Don't enunciate words too much. Don't end in the open, end in the close. Like, you can get real detailed. Like, don't say that word fully clear. And because I have a lisp, I have to take out words in sentences and now think about the rhythm of that, because a rhythm fucks up humor. So because I can't enunciate that word that well, or I can't articulate it that well, like in my brain, you all see me on stage, I actually just stop sometimes like, I just turned it into a style for mine. Like, nope. How do you even say that word? I'll ask the crowd, how do you say that? Fuck that word. Fuck you for saying it. New joke. I'll actually throw a joke away in front of your face. Like, nah, we're not rocking with it. And I'll just reset it. And
dude, that fucks me up just thinking about that, because I have spent so much time pronouncing things the right way.
And to go backwards.
For me to do the opposite would be so... Now, but I'm thinking about it too, and I think I've done things like that for songs. Like, there's a song after this, when this podcast is out, it'll be out now. It's called I Am. And one thing that I think, like, I try to do often, and I think, like, a lot of it comes from just being in the moment, right? Is like, you'll write a song, and maybe it's not even when you write the song, maybe it's when you're recording it. You'll figure out how you're supposed to be pronouncing things. This is why I like recording things myself, because there's no pressure. I'm using up this guy's time. I'm paying for the studio time. It's just me right here. I can do whatever I want. And so I think, like, the way I went with was like, I'm a missile, I'm a monster, I'm official, I'm a lobster, I'm a ripple, I'm a rocker, I'm a dialect, I'm a rapper, I'm a rambler, I'm a whistle, I'm a sigh, I'm a sucker, I'm a dun. And then I just like basically mumble the whole first verse. And then in the second, the hook in the second verse, you switch it up. But that's the first song I've ever really done that. And even that, like, there's a certain, so if I was to do that on stage, it would be like, oh, dude, so could you give us a demonstration of how this works?
I was almost going to say, cause imagine how it would sound if you're, I'm a missile, I'm a da. It's too sharp.
Right.
It hurts almost.
So it's like if I was to go on stage and I was a little bit more slurred like this, and maybe if I just kind of like drunkenly kind of brought everything together into a little bit more of a mutter, and that becomes the pace rather than...
I mean, you can still do higher pace, but like, imagine in a world of comedy, people are doing this and that. It doesn't, in a world of comedy, people are doing this and that, and like you know, like now, like, that's so formal. Like, you almost want to perk up, but the second one is like, all right, he's just talking to me, and like, you don't know where the punchline's coming, but it's like.
So it's like if I was to go on stage with a theater background, I see. You were kind of going up there and being like, hello, so my name is.
Not as stiff, but like, again, yeah, I did competitive speech, which is similar to stand-up. I mean, like, if you have 8 minutes, you got fucking 8 minutes, and you get penalized if you go over. So you literally have to know 60 seconds when the story part's coming, and you're like, oh, no, and you couldn't use props. So you had to literally, and you got punished if you use a prop. Even crying is considered a prop. You had to tame it. So that level of discipline, you got to fall back. And stand up, you come on, that's too much. It's like,
what is competitive speech? What's the why? What is that?
So like, no, debate is debating topics. Speech, you're showcasing style of like, there's like humorous where you're interpreting someone else's writing. It's got to be published too. You can't just like, you give me something. It has to be published. You're taking an insert and you have to trim it down, tell a complete story. Through line, you know, egos and all other stuff, and whether it's 7, 8 minutes, and you guys are competing, and like you start at the beginning of the day, it's like 20 something rounds. Now the winner of each round goes down to the bracket. Now, you know, you're getting the bronze, and then they're judging you. There's 3 or 4 judges in the room. They're going off again: articulation, enunciation, pace, writing, story structure.
Wow.
How did you build it? You know, do all that, and so like it trains you.
Okay, and so you went from that, and
I did competitive theater too.
Oh, okay.
Where it's an hour or 30 minutes, you get punished if you even step off. You have to actually measure. You can only, like, maybe not much bigger than your room. If you step off that line, points deducted, sometimes disqualified. So the level of, and you had to move in sync. And you had to have a certain percentage of choral lines, which means you and I have to practice how to talk the same, pacing, articulation-wise. If we hear too many people sticking out, Marlon, I could tell that was you talking with the group. That's a point. That's a minus point.
So have you ever heard like the argument be made that these award shows and all of this, this whole concept of awarding art is wrong, and that it'd probably be better to just not look at art in such a way where you're grading it and awarding it? And because like maybe not so much with competitive speech do I think that, but when I hear competitive theater and I hear what you just described, it almost makes me feel like that it's almost like you're putting too many parameters around something that's supposed to just be art. It's supposed to just be theater. It's just we're going on stage and we're having a play. But when you start grading everything and over-analyzing and being so critical, well, now we're kind of doing something. We turn it into a sport. Like,
but no, it is a sport.
Yeah.
I don't see. No,
I mean, officially, they treat it like a sport, I'm sure.
No, for me, art is a sport. I'm not in that game of we're all friends and buddies. No, I'm better than y'all. And my goal is to have the best show in the state and the best show in the country. I'm not fucking playing.
Yeah.
Better than Laugh Factory, better than Zanies. This is not you see the tone change? You see the like I come from battle rap. I ain't trying to be buddies with you. I'm trying to body your ass.
I hear
you.
you,
Know what I'm saying?
and I agree with you. But I also think that there's like a balance to that, because you can get lost in the sauce with that. And like, there's just something beautiful about sitting back and just enjoying art for what it is. Like, you know, sometimes you'll see people who just are so caught in all the shit that they can't even enjoy watching someone do 10 minutes of stand-up. They can't even enjoy watching a movie. They can't even enjoy hanging out. They're just doing too much. And you can see it. So I think
I'm halfway that person.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up.
Me too, though. That's the problem. That's why I know this.
So remember you asked why to take myself off the show? Yeah. I'm the problem. Okay. That's why. Okay. Everybody doesn't need to be in this headspace. Though you're gonna die as a great rapper, I'm gonna die as a great entertainer because we have this, right?
Yeah.
I tell people, fuck it. I'm trying to be great. So to answer your question, if you're trying to be great, you need that practice.
Yeah,
you need it. If you're just trying to chill, come learn from the greats and go live your life somewhere.
Right.
Get this discipline.
That's why I said before it's about your aim, because I think like if you're not trying to do all that, then don't even worry about it. Like I've had people tell me like whatever position they're in, right? Like it's somebody who's they just started stand up. They're like, I don't even want to get booked. I just want to go to open mics and just get better. That's a good thing to admit to yourself, rather than saying, I want to be Dave Chappelle. I want to be the greatest comedian in my mind. I want to be Louis C.K. I want to be that guy from the 80s that was so amazing. Richard Pryor. I'm just trying to think of like
Did you notice
less modern examples. You didn't say great stand-up.
I say entertainer.
Right.
It's
so
important.
yeah, let's say Elvis. Even like I want to be an Elvis. I want to be anything.
No, but I'm just saying.
You're thinking Kanye. You're thinking Kanye levels. I am Walt Disney in the flesh.
Apple. Yeah. Coming up, they used to punish me by saying I used to work with Kanye's people. They hate him now. They're like, you remind me of Kanye, so I hate you too. And
you've got a Kanye scope vision.
Yeah. I've actually had to learn to tone it. My business partner, he was like, it is bad to have too much personality sometimes. He's like, I understand you. I like you. You don't have to show that all the time. And I was like, yeah. All right, cool. So that has been an ever journey.
I disagree with that advice. I think your personality takes you very far.
I've struggled in my... that's it. I'm the problem. I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know how to blend in well enough. So
right.
my gift
you
is
just
my
need to
curse.
utilize yourself better. That's what you need to do.
That's why I have to take myself out. I understand. I can lead and work with groups if it's my thing, but if it's like your thing, I'm gonna make sure that I don't take away from you. Like if I tell my friends, I don't need to be on your show. If you need me to help you, it's cool. Like I literally just did sound for my friend's show because I'm good at sound. I don't need to be in your lineup. It's, you know what I mean? I don't want to overshine what you're doing. If I'm helping you with your production, I'm going to make sure we're uplifting you.
Yeah.
If you want me to be a part of it, cool. Like he asked me, can you at least host? I'm like, all right, cool. I'm a host, but I'm not trying to make the night about me. I'm going to make sure I shout out your production, your name, the servers. So like that is a constant. That's maybe what Kanye missed. I don't know. That's good. And I think because of my theater and speech background, it humbles you. You're never great. You're competing against the state. Every week, you perform the same play 50 times before it's done, maybe 14 times. They literally have the community come in and judge you. There's literally a community day before you start the competition. It's always on a Thursday. The town of all the parents and people get to write. I mean, you guys are there, but Marlon, come on, you got a lot of work. They're like, and that's why people always say you got to humble yourself. I'm like, the fuck you. I've been judged. I get judged off of art my whole life. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like I started acting in 5th grade. I've done over 20 theater productions.
I think insecure people say things like that. I think people who they're projecting something upon you because like I'm secure. So if you're gonna tell me I need to humble myself, it's almost like I mean, obviously there can be truth in such a thing. Somebody might really be trying to help you, but I think 9 times out of 10. That's just why you don't take advice from most people. Like, I really think you got to be really careful who you take advice from. Look at their entire body of work. Like, look at everything they do. Because people will tell you all kinds of shit. People will tell you things, and, like, people tell you the exact opposite thing of the thing that the other person said. And, like, people have all kinds of opinions, and people aren't going to like things that you do. I think if you're going to do something that's notable, that's actually going to make a difference, people are always going to dislike what you're doing. Matter of fact, they'll dislike it more than the more agreeable thing, the easier thing. If you're going to do something that's really going to change things, that's really switching things up, that's going to be the thing where everybody's going to have their say and want to tell you what to do. Because everybody, they don't know how to feel, but they want to tell you how, because that's the other thing. It's always people who don't do fucking anything. Like, I swear to God, it'll be people who never like, okay, so you're putting together a show. They'll tell you how you're supposed to put together a show. How often have they never put together a show?
Are you speaking to my soul? Are you in my head? Like, I'm here with it's like he preaching.
It's just like, this is like a thing I've noticed in life. This is how people are. Everybody wants to say things. Everybody wants to tell you. Like,
can I
why?
say I ain't gonna lie to you, I do struggle with that just because like my whole life everybody's calling me egotistical, hard-headed, and like it's just my personality. So like I do want to make sure I'm hearing. I have 2 points to this.
Right. Because there is also the possibility that maybe it
could be. Yeah. So like I do. That's why I've been saying now. Even though I do believe in myself, I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing. I want the world to hear I'm the problem. I know that. I do have that. I can acknowledge my issues. I don't blend in well. I'm not gonna stop being great. But like even if you might saying something that's wrong, I'm trying to study why did it come off that way to you. So I'm interpreting because from a branding consultant standpoint, I want to stand back and look at my brand. Why is it coming off that way?
Right.
Is it because now I'm taking note of that. If I hear that a couple times, it can still add up. And since I want to be country globally known, that 10% can be effective in sales, can affect sales enough in the long run. So I'm going to keep hearing that. And that's kind of why I want to take myself off of my product, because Marlon shouldn't affect my main product. If they don't like me, but they like my show, take my ego out. Cool. I don't need to be on my show all the time. Or some people might be like, I don't care if that's what you're going for. It's me or nothing. That's not me.
Right. I see. That's smart too. See, because that way you can do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about, it's going to affect this and now I can't do all these other things. I think like comedians who get into acting, that's something you'll see where it's like now they start polishing their material a little more and not being so rough around the edges because they want to have acting opportunities, so they don't want to say something too controversial or political. It's kind of funny, like you'll see it happen.
I'm going through that. That's why I'm laughing.
You're going through it.
When I started stand-up, I was known for I still get punished. There's still people who are iffy about booking me or wondering, because I'm known for that. Like, bro, every word, just know every word you can think, I've said on stage in public in front of people. I'm like, I'm black, I can get away with it. And now, like, I'm like, I don't do that no more. I talk about me having a kid. I'm an uncle now. I got a nephew. I spent 2 years trying to work on a 10-minute set that I can say in front of your parents. If you're like, I had to master that because I was too controversial. Like I said, I was getting laughs, but if I want to be a professional artist, a business can't book me, right? Comedians make most of their money off of private shows. You don't make money off of Laugh Factory and Zanies. That's just for the look. That's for the clout. A company behind the scenes will drop 200, 300 randomly for their company retreat for you to do 20, 30 minutes. But you want me to say my racist jokes? So I cheated. I have a good smile. I can articulate if I want, and I'll use the perception to lie to you. I could sound like, how you doing? Hi, moms love me. Girls hate me because their parents love me. So, use that and then say the most heinous shit. Like, I will let him. He's judging me off what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's like, this fucking guy.
You know what I'm saying? But it's funny. You were talking about something else, and I can't remember the second point to that. But, like, you're saying a lot of the stuff that is just funny that's what I'm going through now.
Oh, with people giving you advice? Is it that?
I think it was somewhere in there when I said, I'll take it with a grain of salt and we'll hear it. But minimize your personality. Was it a personality thing? I don't know. But I do know, about IP, right?
Maybe.
So what I hate is a lot of rappers always talk about their masters. That's not more important than your IP. Like, because no one's buying physicals anymore. The only reason why rappers always talk about that is because that's the only way they can make money. The idea of something matters way more than the tangible. No one cares about you recording your song now. What matters is the idea and the concept that you made of your song. Because if I take that from you, think about how much money I can interpolate that. I can spin it. Think about how much money I can make. All the biggest hits are remixes of old IPs back in the day.
Right.
They're not taking the fucking song and spinning it and DJ scratching anymore. You'd make money off of that if we did that still. So, that's why it's so much important to take in. That's why I study my brand so much, the concept. Because I need to make sure my concept. I'll give you another example, or a clear example. Sorry, Wolverine can be mimicked anywhere else, but they're trademarking his specific story and the yellow look and the height and everything else that's very specific to the story they're telling. So if someone steals that, they might not be as effective because it doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. Well, it's why you have these things coming out now with Winnie the Pooh, and I think it was Steamboat Willie, the Mickey Mouse cartoon, like where the IPs have a certain age, and then all of a sudden now you can do whatever you want with the IP. I wish I remembered the actual number. I want to say it's 80 years. I think. Maybe it's... Because, I mean, Steamboat Willie was the 40s.
Disney got an extension for theirs. That's why they lasted longer. Every business rule got implemented because of Disney. Oh, that's what I thought about. When he said, oh, I do have the Kanye, our goal is to actually take out Disney.
That's your ultimate goal?
Yeah, everybody always asks, like, what do you mean? What do you want? I want to be Disney. Like, what do you want to... Think about it. You can't name another company that makes the bulk of their income off of original idea. Most of the money still comes from Mickey Mouse, Goofy, all of their original concepts. That's their original IP. They just bought Marvel. That just happened recently to start making billions.
I would say Joe Rogan. He's a good example.
He don't create nothing original?
Well, his entire thing is the podcast, right? Which is him.
That's not ideas.
Oh, so you mean like...
When he dies, that podcast dies. It's over. Mickey Mouse will outlive all of us.
I see. Just like variance becomes outside of you, it lives outside of you.
If my kids aren't eating, if my grandkids aren't eating off of the IP that I created, I failed.
Yeah.
They should be eating off of it before I die, in fact. You know what I mean?
So how, on a grand scale, do you accomplish such a thing then? Like, how do you get bigger than Disney? Like, what is that ultimate? Well, because obviously it can't just be like what it is now with shows and curating shows and bringing people together. Like, it has to be that, but so much more.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. What people don't realize, I actually didn't upscale on purpose, because if I put my ideas out too soon, I don't have enough financial backing to cover that.
Right.
Because you can trademark here, but you can't trademark in Europe. Someone can still buy that and take the IP, and they have enough money to do it on a bigger scale than me. And, it's really who gets it to the market first. I have all the animations. I have designs. I'm going to have my own independent company. Or a production company. I could tell you the story that I want to do. I have a new Avatar story that I have for a prequel. That I'm going to put out the middle story first, then jump to the prequel, and then we're going to jump to those series. Like, in my second life, I'm going to make kids movie or like Adventure Time, how it grows. I have all that now, but why would you put that out now when you don't have the financial backing to make it make sense? You know what I mean? So to answer your question, if this show isn't making $500,000 or $500,000 to then, it doesn't make sense to implement everything else, right? Everything has to funnel back into each other. Right. So to answer your question, I'll start putting animations, mixing them into my live shows sooner than later. I'm going to start normalizing that to my fan base. Like when I had my podcast, I paid for an animated intro. They got used to that, seeing it. So now I was going to start sprinkling promos as cartoons. This is the new logo. My original logo was Marvel styled because I wanted the black nerds. The people who go to Comic-Cons are fans who spend money on tangible products. Right. You want that fan base. So to say they're the ones who critique what you're writing. They'll actually tell me, like, I wasn't fucking with that last storyline. I mean, it gets deeper. Like my live stories, I want to get like wrestling. We're actually like, so you coming on my show, we're gonna rap battle you at some point. Like it's like, so there's gonna be a storyline like, hey man, he said he wants his get back. You beat him in April, so come back in September. Like we're gonna eventually start like how Tony is doing with his live podcast, where they all kind of have little storylines.
I mean, what we could do, what would be fun then? I mean, it doesn't matter. No, the people who see this, they have a sneak peek, right? So what I think would be fun is you introduce me as Ruse. You might know him from Roast Battle Chicago, blah, blah, blah. I come up, I just roast everybody from the show, and then maybe somebody has a problem with that, right?
And you start and I do want to involve you in the games too.
Yeah.
So that's actually, because your wit is more than just musical. That's what I'm saying, like expanding your brand. It lit up for me because I was like, I don't see you. That's why when I said transition to comedy, I didn't mean stand-up, because comedy is so much more than stand-up. I want everybody to memorize that. Like, you can be funny edits. I know how to make a funny edit without ever using words. You know what I mean? That's a skill. But your wit on the spot would make you even better games than me. Like, I'm not improv trained. But I can freestyle in a motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like me and you might have a specific skill set that'll balance better in certain games of me and you compete. You know how like in Wild 'N Out there's always the two guys like, when those guys start talking shit to each other, you know what that style is gonna be.
Right. I mean, like, it's even on Wild 'N Out. That's a good example because you have rap games on that show. Certain improv games are word-specific games. So it's like, let's say the game is we each say one word and we have to finish, we have to make a story. Somebody who's not normally doing that type of thing would probably struggle more with that type of, just like we would probably struggle more with physical improv. Like we would probably struggle more with stuff where we have to act out more than maybe somebody who's, maybe not you since you've done so much theater, but I feel like that's like, for me, it's not so baked in. Like my brain thinks in the schematics of words.
But I'm glad that you said that, because that was a critique from one of my game leaders last night. She said, I wish that 2 of your guys did more physical improv. And so that's good that you're already thinking that. And like, because I literally last night had to think about my own blocking. Like I said, like, and it's also as a producer brain, I struggled to transition. Like when I first started doing stand-up, because I was doing film, I was getting irritated while on stage. Like, you think this is the right lighting? Like I'm looking at the lighting on stage. I'm looking at the camera guy like, I know you're not getting the best angle. I know you're not. Look at the moment, shoot it. You know what I mean? Like I literally have to, so that's why I don't do my games yet, because I need to still work on removing myself, because I could be funnier and quicker in the moment. But if I'm looking at like, he's standing right in front of the camera, look at him over there, he blocking him. Now we only have one angle, it's gonna kill me. It's gonna, like, you know what I mean? We were in Missouri, we had 3 music cues that were fucked up and the transition, and it low-key ruined my attitude. Like the whole show, it's like small stuff, like the gameplay, he got the rules wrong, and the audience actually had to tell him the rules. It just blew me. Like I actually we worked into the style of it, but I literally ran off stage and said, reset, nigga. And like we made it a joke, and like even the person who introduced me to my show, he fumbled his words, which is fine. And I was like, start over, you're stressed. And like the crowd laughed. And so we'll integrate that into the game. But that's actually me genuinely angry that people just started laughing at. Like we'll do that. You know? Last night they were talking shit about me on stage, like how they do Nick Cannon. And I opened the door from the crowd like, haters! And just slammed the door back, like so on some Vince McMahon shit at some point. And I think it's skill.
You're the heel, but you're also running the show.
No, I'm a good bad guy. I've acknowledged that. I'm not that nice of a person. If like when I'm doing business, we did our May show, we had a roast battle. I said, you know what? People tend to like you more than me. I'm prepared to lose this battle as long as I put up a fight.
Yeah.
Because he's a school table roaster. Like I told you, I get personal. I'm talking about your dad, your grandma. It's no way that like it's gonna come off nice or good.
Right.
So as long as I can take jokes. So at some point I set it up. So basically I'll go too far, and then now the crowd's like, you deserve whatever he's gonna say to you. So I'm a good bad guy and leading him up to where he needs to go.
That's a perfect spot to be, is like if you want the other person to look good, you really are the bad guy, you're the heel. It's like, whoa, dude, whoa. And then all you gotta do is like the other guys be like, you know what? I ain't even care what he say, because I look at this motherfucker like, damn, he gay. The audience just goes crazy.
They always call me gay. So that's literally, now they're going to clip that last. Is one of them. He's going to clip that like, see, I knew it, man. Your eyebrows are too straight.
I don't know how that came into my, I think I saw them joke about you being gay once, now that I think about it. I was on the podcast you guys do with like 4 or 5 people. They were calling you gay once. But that was not what I was thinking a second ago. So I don't know. Maybe it's just in the ether.
I'm giving the gay energy, and even that laugh.
Well, you know what I was my logic was, if the audience hates him, I could say the most ridiculous basic diss, and it doesn't even matter. They're going to be behind me no matter what. That's what I was thinking. I'm just going to call him gay, and they're going to go crazy because they hate this guy.
It's so funny because we have similar mindsets. I'll actually throw gay jokes out because that's normally the quote-unquote like untouchy topic.
Yeah.
I'll do off-brand, not too far, but just enough to where it's like not canceled, but it's like...
Well, in my mind, you see I'm being tongue-in-cheek, but I could see how someone wouldn't understand that.
He's gay. What I like is I have yet to ever be canceled. I'm always pushing the boundary, and I realized, fuck, like you said, I'm just a good bad guy. Like, for some reason, in real life, they get offended at me. But on stage, For some reason, we just walk that line where it's like, you're gay, and then we just shake it off. Like, you know, I've insulted it. I've insulted a guy's mother to his face in front of him. I've hit on guys' girlfriends to their face. Loved it. I'm like, you guys are sick, right? My closing joke is about my dead grandma, and like I've seen the room. I have audio tape where they've started hating me middle of that joke. By the end of the joke, somehow now we've all bonded about everybody's lost a loved one. And the joke is about me roasting my grandma at her funeral.
Yeah.
At her casket.
Yeah.
So
I think it's like the magic of context. And I think it's really interesting. I think it's why, like when you asked me earlier about getting away with things with freestyling, like I just have to clear my mind of all of that and then just do it anyway. And what I find is, that is all the context they need. They see that I'm freestyling. They see that I'm doing that in the moment. I mean, unless you have some terrible things in your mind and somehow that slips out.
I do. I do. Do you?
Matter of fact, I hate this guy. I actually hate him.
So that's why I don't play the games. I'm never in a good place mentally. So I'll have a Freudian slip, and now I've ruined the show, you know. So that's what I'm scared of. That's me. I'm the problem, right? It's me. I'm the problem. So like, you'd be good, like, we have the game called Sex is Like, right? Or Sex with Me is like, they just throw something out there, a sponge, and you have to be like, sex with me is like a sponge.
Yeah.
I hold all the bacteria. There's just boom. It may land, it may not. What I like about that game is
the PG version is dating me is like, kissing me is like. There are PG versions, kids.
anal with me is like, and then we'll just.
That's the Christian version.
See, I would call that a bar because you know the back door to heaven is anal, and like, but people don't always catch, like, to me, that's, you know what I mean, like, if one person
where
gets
my mind goes.
But if like one person gets that, me and you're not locked in. Like, I'll start talking to you for the rest of the show. Like, me and him are like, the rest of y'all heathens, but he knows how to get to heaven. Anal. And I've noticed, like, that makes this show special. Like, in that type of room,
This guy gets it.
yeah. Rest of you guys heathens, you're going to jail. Like, that's how I came up. One guy had this on me forever. I had my pussy moment, which we went to. It was like Joliet. It was a show. It was one of those shows where like mostly variety acts. Maybe we're the only two comics, and it was like all 40, 50 plus old black people, and they like church based. I was like, all I have is pussy jokes. I need to leave. And like, I legit was just freaking out. And then one guy was like, you better toughen the fuck up. And in the moment, I had to learn how to freestyle. And I came up with some church jokes. But I also rebel. So if you make me clean my act, I'm going to go dirtier. It's like, but I'm just surprised it worked.
I've heard stories of Norm Macdonald doing that.
I gave you what you want.
Yeah.
Then I started shit talking the grandma in the front. I was like, nah, bitch, don't like. But I don't know how they allowed me to go from church comment. I don't go to church, so this was lies. I pulled something from a childhood moment. All you needed was a few minutes of, oh, he gets us. No, I don't. I will fuck that grandma right there. And they let it happen.
So like my theory is that all performance, everything, it's hypnosis. And I think life is like a low grade hypnosis. And what you're always doing is you're always you're taking control of things and hypnotizing people and getting them to go along with things. And you can take that so far to the point where you can literally hypnotize people and just get them to do what you say. And that's what hypnotists are proving when they do that. And I think like when people are killing, when like you get somebody with you as the comedian or as the musician, they're all with you. I think that there's something hypnotic that's happening. Like you've gotten them in this trance-like state where now you can get away with saying those things where previously you couldn't, but you just freaking took these people from here and got them here, and now they're hypnotized, and now you can say, matter of fact, I'll fuck that grandma. Like, that's crazy that we can do that, because that's literally what happened.
And you see, I don't know why it's funny to me you saying that. It's like in my mind, that's why it's like a joke has to die. I want to throw the concept out, and I hope someone picks it up. Like, the best show to me is I started the show, and then my concept, one of my concepts, one of the IPs, lives on through the rest of the show, and we start calling back. Like, I did a splits during the show last night, and I basically busted my nuts. And so the rest of the show, they're like, Marlon has a camel toe, by the way, and it just kept growing and growing. And I was like, fuck, that's such a good-ass punchline. Imagine if I busted my balls earlier. Oh, that's a storyline. it started in May. These dancers come to my show. So now if I see you, I challenge you. I used to dance battle, but I'm old now. My knees don't work. But I think it's funny that I'm like, I'm going to beat you YNs one day. So every time I literally ran off stage and drug his ass on stage. And my only move is to do a split. So I can do the James Brown or the, but yesterday I jumped into it just to double up the ante. And I did, only like a couple of us got it, but I did the Family Guy fall when you, and it's like, me and you got it. That's all I needed, and it's on camera, so I'm going to get that edit. It's just rambling, but shit like that. When I said I don't like stand-up at the beginning of the pod, I like creating the concept more. That's what gets it for me. So what me and you are talking about, maybe I don't fully love touring and just telling jokes, but I like getting in front of people and working this concept and seeing if I can pull off the hypnosis.
That's really interesting because I think that's really interesting. I'm trying to process that. Because I mean, I think for one, with this podcast, I've always jokingly said it's a comedy podcast, and that's, because if you call something a comedy podcast, you can get away with a lot more than you could get away with otherwise. I'm a comedian. These are all jokes.
I'm a Christian. Anal's okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's a comedy show. But it wasn't really comedians until I moved here. And I moved here around episode 88 is where the switch happens. Everything before that, it's mostly people, musicians and things like this. And one thing I've noticed about comedians is they're more interested in exploring ideas, exploring concepts, which is how my brain is inclined naturally.
Yeah.
I want to think about this. And one thing I would encounter this with my dad a lot, where I'd be talking to my dad and he'd be like, why are you analyzing this thing? It's as simple as this. Why are you analyzing it? And I'm like, you just don't understand what my brain is doing here. Yeah. And then I talk to comedians and I'm like, I'm not crazy. It's him. It's not me. Because that's how the comedians are. They always want to break everything down and understand things. And I think that's a really good quality to have.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that about myself, and I've noticed that it's not even really about the music. It's not even really about a podcast. It's about what you're able to do and the fact that ideas can be transmitted through these mediums. To me, it's always all this stuff behind it that's so much more interesting than the actual thing I'm doing. It's the things I can do, and the fact that it's a medium through which you can do those things. Or there's just I think even through conversations, when you think about them that way, you get to places you wouldn't get otherwise. You explore and you find things rather than thinking, I know what this thing is. You think this thing could be anything. This thing could be literally anything, and I'll allow it to be anything. And then it becomes things along the way, but that's because you allowed that to happen.
Almost like writing and surprising yourself.
And I do that when I write songs. It's the same thing. I'll write it. I'll be like, whoa, that's a fucking... Yo, that makes so much, and it's something I couldn't have made outside of that context. I had to put myself there to do it. Just writing the best joke. It's thank God I sat down and wrote that, because that's my best joke ever.
Have you ever asked someone for interpretation of your own shit?
Yeah, and it's 50. I like hearing it because I like to know that it's bigger than me. So I like to hear people say things that I wouldn't come up with. Because then I'm like, yo, that makes me know I did my job right. I let it be hands off enough to where you can take it and run with it and make it your own thing. Because again, I think if you over define things and if you overdo it, then you're actually limiting yourself. You're not allowing the freedom that you could. Because I think everybody,
the range.
Yeah.
Now I'll give slight. I still like the detail as much, but if you write it. Creating the concept but allowing you to take it over, I still know where it's going, but I don't have to tell you everything. So, because I don't want, how you explain that?
Well, it's kind of like what you're saying about letting other people take the reins, right? You know that you can do so much, but you also know that you are limited in the sense that if you allow other people to do it, they will do it in a way that you wouldn't. But because you know that about yourself, you'll go all over. Yeah. But yeah, it's I think there's just something about not going off the rails, I guess.
I have to actually. That's a daily issue for me. I have to actually again, I got in trouble in my job. If you ever hear me, like, there's some points, like, I'm, like, fidgety. I have to tame myself. No, let him finish the point, Marlon. So remember, like, just people talking. But to go back to...
When you learn so much when you do it, too. When you really let people go. Because your brain, you already know everything you're going to do. You're a master of yourself.
I'll give pushback because I had interns. So it's been debunked, right? Active learning is how you learn, not just like lecture hall. So we need to encourage... Because I work with kids, nonprofits and stuff, we need to encourage them to not sit and just listen.
To participate.
Yes, and more actively.
Like I just did, rather than, like, I think there's an art to interrupting, right? Like, people would tell you never interrupt, but I think that, like, so many well-timed interruptions have led to so many good moments. Like, but people will be like, oh, no, like... But you didn't let them finish with it. Like, yeah, but, like, what if I needed to interject so that way we could get somewhere even better? Like, oh, wait, before you keep going with that. And that's, any good podcast is evidence of that. People interrupt all the time.
That's why I don't know why they keep putting these managers in charge who don't have that. They keep putting people in place to lead us who are rigid.
Yeah.
They need to step out the way and be flexible. Or, again, or be like, hey, I'm in charge of everything, but you do this point better. So I'm going to give you what the orders are.
That's what a manager should do. You're managing. It's literally it. I mean, like, that's like just basic business advice, I feel like, is leverage your strengths and weaknesses. So if I have a weakness, someone else should leverage their strength, and then we both fill in the gaps for each other, and that's a great business relationship, and that's business 101. But I think it's kind of like the thing you'll observe with, like, bosses and people who just want to be in charge in general, politicians. You just end up getting a person who really just wants to be in charge and take control, and not somebody who's actually interested in, like, making sure things run great. I think that's just like the Stanford prison experiment is like one of the you're familiar with that? That's like one of the best examples we have of, like, you put people in a position and naturally they just tend to take advantage.
I almost dang. See, that's where my brain, I have so many points, and I wanted to make sure I didn't interrupt you. I had 3 points. I hope I don't forget them all, but one, it just seemed random, but when I went on a date with a girl, which I've been waiting to explain to her, I said it wrong. I told her I wanted power. I should have changed it to, like, influence. I was like, imagine how that sounds. Like, I'm not gonna call that guy back. He just wants to. But, like, it's like I used to do security. You already know she's not gonna call me back, right? But in the
That's
moment,
nuts, bro.
It's nuts. Well, because, like, she's not artistic, so she's like only money. So I was trying to explain to her.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like,
but on a first date is wild.
Well, because, like, she made a joke about, like. Because, again, I work in the city with inner youth. So I was like, hey, I'm on lunch. Let's do a lunch break. We're in the city. She was kind of she was looking around, her head on a pivot. She made a comment about, got to keep that gun on you. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, I said, you're safe with me. Everybody is dead. If you're I'm a trained fighter. I do security. If you're in arm's reach, you're dead to me. And I was joking with her. And, like, I had to explain to her the concept. And that was some cocky shit. But if we're in a taco joint on, like, the 70s. If someone's planning on killing us, they planned it out. That's a mercenary. That's an assassin. If they're gonna come in here, they're trying to rob the joint. You and I are fine. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know about you, bitch, but I'm broke, so they're not gonna win anyways. But I'm like, you gotta understand the world, right? Most people do not wake up and they're ready to kill somebody, right? That's just he's gonna wave it around. He's actually more scared, hoping he doesn't have to use it, right?
Right.
Secondly, most people aren't actually weapon trained, so his aim is shitty. I'm not saying take the chance, but I'll probably take the chance. Or why can't we run? He might just shoot in the air like, don't, stop, what are you? All right, we lost 2 people, but the rest of y'all, I swear to God, don't run. The angles, I'm like, or if he gets close enough, I am a trained fighter. Hey, bro, just take him out. You seen the little Jackie Chan gun? I'm not saying I might not die, but most people aren't trained to fight, kill, what else did I say? I don't know, outrun. I just gave her these logical concepts, and I'm like, also, when you do security, you don't stalk somebody. You check the room. I know who's a problem without looking at you. So that's how we catch a lot of people. I've already put on the radio, hey, man, he's definitely on crack over there.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you ever see me...
This is funny because there's one girl who would hear all this and feel so secure, and there's another girl who is, like, reaching for the bear spray now. Like, there's different types of women out there,
In my head, like, that's why
that's a risky thing to say to a woman, But I'm assuming that you thought it was like based on her vibe, based on everything that was happening. You're like, you know what? I can get away. Just like comedy on stage. It's like, I can get away with all this. She's cool.
I'd rather have you, I know it's fucked up. I want to give you a negative perception early on because I know that I can cancel it out later on.
Wow. See, I think about it like if I gave you a negative perception, that was bound to happen eventually. Like, who am I? Am I even in control of that? Like, if I was being myself and I gave you a negative perception, like at a certain point, especially if we're talking about relationships, right? It's like, well, was it at some point you were going to see that that's who I am? So
like, I will kill people, so you might as well know now.
Exactly. Well, I think you don't want to hear it 5 months into the relationship. Wait, whoa, when did you get so violent?
I've been this way, baby. What I find is funny is I keep telling her I'll kill people. Well, here's the crazy part. She believes that I will kill people more than that I will be. I told her that I'm going to be Prince of Michael Jackson, and that's crazy to her than that I'm a murderer. She's like, you just get that vibe that you'll kill somebody, but not that. I can't be Michael Jackson, so you'll assume I could be a serial killer. To me, the concept, and someone was like, if you put it on a regular scale, people don't grasp greatness. That's how we're so fucked up as humans. We've been trained to minimize what we can do. So the idea of taking a life is more realistic than you accomplishing something that most can't do. Like I told her, just to even understand that you can accomplish it, I'm already in a percentile at most. Like Michael Jackson and Prince are in reach of me. That's not crazy to me. Like I say the greatest entertainer because Michael can't act, right? He can't rap like that. Maybe he could, he didn't show us, right? I look at all what he didn't do, not minimizing his greatness, but I'm now going to take it further. He gave us a blueprint, him and Prince. They're so detailed in their production. They knew how to set up, film, everything else. They were trying to be a full package. And they saw Michael Jackson knew business. He bought all the catalogs from everybody else. He was business minded. So I'm going to take what they implemented and go further. Disney made some of the biggest IPs known to man ever. They changed business and monopoly laws because of them. They own ESPN, YouTube, all these things under them. My next goal is to capitalize and take over entertainment, but opposite of them. I'm here to make entertainment grow. Their company is no longer run by artists. Disney and his cousin were the artists who were running business first, and then they died. If they would have stayed alive longer, it might have evolved into a more creative company, but then they also fired the guy who created Pixar. He created their biggest hits, like the Lady and the Beast, whatever the shit's called. Then when they fired him, he went and created Shrek and started bodying Disney and got all these Oscars to the point to where Disney had to tap in and start partnering with him so he wouldn't keep beating them. So when you say, why is it realistic to beat Disney? Because an artist who knows business will body anybody. Because I can create a new IP every year and I can do it every month, honestly, if the money's there. And most people can't do that. And that is a skill that's more valuable than anything tangible. And that's why IPs matter more than masters. And that's why I've turned down plenty of deals. I got hella $1 million offer deals. And I'm like, if you're paying me this, if you're willing to pay me this now and I'm a nobody, it's a reason. Mm-hmm. I've helped a lot of companies. How we used to be, you go deeper, we were one of the first companies in the 2010s to start DSLR cameras and shoot more than music videos. We were going to companies saying, you don't need to pay for all these big cameras. You're putting it online. It's already compressed. It's not being expanded. Showing them that there's another way beyond that. And the way that we would beat some people out is we would pitch a concept right there. That's why it goes back to rapping and everything else, the ability to be able to freestyle. You give me a concept. My goal is when you're making a commercial, you got 60 seconds. You have to get the audience hooked in 4 to 5 seconds in. At the end, you got to have the logo 6 seconds in. So how do you create a concept? Again, go back to stand-up too. In 30 to 40 seconds, you have to create a concept that somebody who just turned to this channel will get drawn into and can follow it. And now you have to direct them where they can go on a short time period and make it unique compared to somebody else.
Right.
That is a skill that I don't give a fuck how much business you know. You can't touch me like that. Come on. You can't touch a creative person who does that. So artists need to tap into that space. We would go on these meetings and kill these people. And that was back when I was in my 20s. So they literally told us, you guys are too young, too new, and too unknown to be doing this shit this crazy. And we were writing our contracts to where you couldn't screw us. Like I did a deal with Vlad, right? You know that I forgot what it's called, but that festival to where like all the old heads from like DMX, Ice Cube, Rakim, KRS-One, they come together once a year or so. It's not Rock the Bells, but they just do.
I think
state to state.
Yeah, I think I know.
I was filming that shit. I got some of the last DMX footage. I think it was a year or two before he died, and we got Rakim on footage, and like we were the smallest company there, but we were shooting it. They fucked up on some of their footage. So Vlad was trying to buy our footage, and we were like, nah, because you normally sell your shit to somebody else, and they were trying to get it played on HBO and everything else. So we turned down a deal that another small company took, and now he has all these celebrities under his name and credits, but he owns none of that.
Right.
We would only do licensing deals. So it's like deals like that, we got whiteballed in the game. And that's why I pivot to so many other entertainments. It's cool. Pivot me in film, I'm gonna go body you in stand-up. Ironically, a lot of people that are in stand-up now, I was filming them back in the day. Like Little Rail, I have footage of him back in the day. I didn't know he was popping. When Kevin Hart blew up in 2014, I was working for mobsters apparently. I didn't even know that. He was like, that's true? That's who hired you? So like I can tell you, like, I can bounce around and tell you all these stories, but like it all comes centerfold because I knew business enough and were skilled enough to hop in your field. And that is what Disney's doing, right? They're monopolizing your business. So I'm gonna hop in your music. I can make a hit record. I'll hop in your field. We got beef. I'm gonna come in your music field. And I'm gonna make.
Don't you think that's what MrBeast is doing now? Like, don't you think that he has taken his brand, now he's trying to do chocolate, he's trying to do, I mean, before it was just YouTube, but I think he's found a way to expand. I mean, philanthropy, he's got a whole philanthropy channel. His whole thing with translating his videos and expanding into those markets,
That's
just
fire.
becoming universal.
But he's not wrecking IP though. That's the only problem. He's just another businessman. He's not creating.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, right? Is MrBeast bigger than MrBeast? That's a really good question, because I think it's hard to argue that it's not, or that it. Yeah, it's hard to argue. You could take MrBeast out of that and still have it be successful. It's very hard to argue that. But I do also think that it's become such a machine that, let's say, even if he passed away right now, you could probably still make the MrBeast thing go. I don't think it actually needs him. I think it's enough of a system. Like he's incorporated all of his friends. He's done all these things where that it might not be as good as before, but that would carry on. But it's like taking Steve Jobs out of Apple. It's the same.
No, but look at it. He created a new product. Now they're repeating it, but MrBeast doesn't have there's no new identity. Like I said, Mickey Mouse and Goofy, all these stories have a moral to it. There's a reason why they exist, and they exist out. MrBeast is just philanthropy. He's not idea.
Well, maybe with his chocolate though, right? With making Feastables and calling it. I don't even know if it's actually true, but the whole sell was that it's organic chocolate, it's healthy chocolate, it's ethically sourced, which is always a good thing to say. I mean, obviously these are all talking points and you know, something that was mentioned at a boardroom, but it's also true that, like, I think again, you take him out of that, Feastables is its own beast. Wow, no pun intended. But it's its own machine at this point. It's literally already that.
Okay, yes, but no. But I mean, he doesn't have a concept that's created. So yes, it's like Disney doesn't just exist.
Well, I think I think he does. I think, like, if you were to argue his genre of video, he changed YouTube, and I think, like, with what he's done, he actually kind of ruined it for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like the direction that YouTube has gone because of people like him and the way. I think it's like something I'm torn on. I don't really know how to feel, because I think it's almost kind of inevitable. He's just the person that figured out, people's attention spans, it's all about hacking their attention span. It's all about retention. It's all about thumbnails. It's not just about the content. All these people who are just trying to make a good video, it's like what you said about concepts. I've heard MrBeast say things like this, where it's like, if you don't have a good idea, and that's another thing that rung in my head while you were saying that, was I've seen him talk about, he'll just list video ideas. He'll just list ideas of things, and he's got so many ideas just because he can just come up with anything. You just give him a word, he'll come up with 10 viral video ideas. And I've seen him do it. It's actually really impressive, because it's like what you said, you can't buy that. You can't.
Yeah, it's a skill.
It's such a skill. He's like an algorithm for creating videos. And so, yeah.
He might be the white ghost in Matrix to me. Because I hear what you're saying. He's not what we need. He'll eventually be the problem. Even though he's going to help us innovate, but he'll become.
I think we're already kind of there, where it's just like that genre of YouTube. It's almost kind of anti-human. Like it's almost like we're just treating ourselves like robots. Like we need that YouTube drip, we need that YouTube drug, and it's like there's no pacing, there's no nothing, and it's like it's ruined music in a sense and it's all because of Reels and TikTok and stories. It all spiraled out from that because it's just we're so used to just the context switching, and the first 3 to 5 seconds of anything has to hook us, and we're just trained to think this way, all of us, because we've all scrolled before. And so I think MrBeast just does that with 10-minute videos, and that there's still things that prove otherwise, like podcasts. I think I listen to podcasts. I don't know about everybody else, but those things are 3 hours long.
Yeah,
and I listen to those. But when it comes to movies, I'm kind of fucked up, if I'm being honest with myself. When's the last time I sat through a whole movie without stopping it and doing something else?
F1 is a fire movie.
With Brad Pitt?
2 hour something movie that thoroughly got better as it went.
Wow.
Because I'm still a big guy of, I want to get theaters to come back. I don't want them to go away. I feel
the same way.
So I'll like philanthropy, in that concept, I might rent out theaters in the future, create a company. Like I want to do Variance University, and I got to find a way to put that into the community, right? I might bring kids to the movie theaters, get them used to why it's important, why it matters.
Right.
It's a community of a bunch of strangers who come together, who can respect existing in this space for a little bit, to all pay attention to one concept, because you hate a shitty theater experience.
Yeah.
Like, I've told someone to punch a baby in the face. Like, I was watching a Michael Myers film. Why is there a child in here? And why is he hit the baby in the face? Teach it a lesson because his dad's not around. Clearly, it needs discipline. and like that kills me. I was like, but like,
I feel like old Marlon just came out on the podcast. Yeah. Old Marlon telling people to punch babies in the face. I've changed. I do family material now.
I didn't do that as an abortion joke back in the day.
So he's actually toned it down.
Yeah. It goes a lot farther. Kill that baby. Murder. Throw it in the. Oh, but like,
yo, watching that movie made me pro-life. Okay. Pro-choice. I fucked up the joke, but you understood.
But see, because I got the concept. If you follow it, I was like, I didn't even care about the punchline. I knew where he was going with it.
Yeah. I think also there's nothing that compares to watching a movie in a theater. You can watch a movie at your house. Yeah, of course you can. You can watch a movie on your phone. Of course you can. We all can do these things. But if you watch a movie in a theater and just an experience where you share that with people, even a movie with friends, you get 10 people together, we all watch the movie. That's so much different than watching it by yourself. And I think that's why theaters are so important. They're providing a very specific experience that's lost upon us because we think we can do the same. Like, it's so, to me, that's an insane thing to think I could just watch it at my house. That's the same. Like, it is not the same at all. What makes you think the movie theater and your house are even in the same ball field? Like,
man, unless you got the money I will have a theater built in my future house, but it won't be the same as like.
But even then, what I just described, I want 10 people there. I want to invite people and have a movie night where we're all in the theater watching the movie, not just me. That's not the same.
It's so important.
If it's a comedy movie, we all laugh when the funny part hits, and it's like, and I think that puts you in a headspace. You know. I'm
still wondering if I can, and this is me taking my pride out to see if I can do it or not. I would like to make a comedy stand-up that maybe is. I have fan base enough who will go to the theaters to pay for it, like Kevin Hart did. I think that's the thing, like Delirious and everything else. We had rock stars in comedy, and I want to bring that back. I actually say that Shane.
You wouldn't say that's happened, yeah? Because I was gonna say, like, Shane, I feel like when people talk about comedy in the spot it's in right now, generally people feel like comedy's in a really for the first time in a long time. I think Bert Kreischer kind of led the way on the theater thing. I want to say it was him with the success he had with The Machine and the story.
Well, I only give you pushback. His movie failed or flopped. Not talking about quality, but it didn't make the financial sales.
Yeah.
It didn't recoup. He was.
Well, the movie didn't do good. No, I'm just saying his initial boom with doing big stadiums. I want to say it was off of that viral clip of him telling that story. And also, but Kevin Hart's obviously, if you're going back to the first one to really do it, Kevin Hart paved the way for everybody.
But what I'm saying is, I'm glad you got that. He's still doing it. The only reason why it's not a shot at Bert, but I'm saying is he was hype versus culture. So when I say real rock stars, Eddie never dropped. Never dropped. That's real. Dave Chappelle never dropped. The quality, rock stars don't drop. Once you're a rock star truly, you're doing the same songs, tours forever.
Right.
We need to, and that's why I've been trying to use the word is culture. And I don't know how to explain it. and I'm trying to explain to people, like, when you come to my show, how to explain it? People were calling my show a black show for a while, and I felt mad about that because I'm like, because you see a black person running it? Like, there's nothing actually just, but then, you know, people of culture are like, well, what's your issue with just calling it? Black people are like, why can't you call it a black show? Why you got a problem with it? And I'm like, you guys are putting in a box. And then I was like, oh, I get it. I hate you explain this shit. We're just cool. Black people create everything. So the initial gist of it.
No, it's a compliment. You don't understand. It's a good thing.
It always sounds weird trying to explain that shit, but now I will say this. Now that I have accepted it's a black show, whatever. I accepted that concept, and now that I lean more into things that are more black prone, like my childhood, our shows have escalated even more. Because now they feel like, and I say that to say is, I think that would be my niche. I'm tapping into, how do you explain that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I explain that? My show is built off of what I grew up with. I'm a 90s baby, right? So initially, I will always be considered old school or nostalgic because the 2009, as it keeps going. But if you look at that, that was the black golden era for us. All the best TV shows, all the best rappers, quote unquote, hip hop of the era. And so how do you explain to somebody, my shows have to be built around that. That is culture. And I don't know how to explain it because as you go mainstream and I add people in, because like, people who are not part of the culture are part of my show. I add them in. But as a producer, I have to always think, how do I make them work in my concept so it doesn't feel like I'm adding a token in? I don't want anybody in my lineups to feel like token. Like yesterday was the big Black Variants collab, but it wasn't a show of just black people in the lineup. But everybody blended to where we didn't have to address it. I did make the joke. There's white people running our music board for the Big Black shows. That's a pretty funny concept in itself. And they played one of the blackest songs of the night.
You know what would be a funny music cue right after you say that? Play that funky music, white boy. That would have been perfect.
He actually had some blacker concepts than me. I tried to throw out some mainstream shit.
Yeah.
He said you should do some tricks like, what you won't do. No one knows that he's not black. And I was like, damn, that would have been perfect. But you guys see what I mean? Like, it's a roundabout way to get to the point of like, how do I explain that? Like, I dropped Isley Brothers. If you know Isley Brothers Contagious with R. Kelly, like, what the hell is going on? That's a black opera. But if you know it, it's spiritual. Like, I had motherfuckers running from the back row to yell at my face. Like, it's a Shazam game where we play a song at random, stop it, and whoever can finish the lyrics or whatever, when I used to get prizes, win. It got to the point to where no one cared about the prizes. They were just literally yelling at each other, like, singing at well, you don't what off key was the worst sounding off key that you've ever heard, but they were so impassioned.
By the way, folks, that doesn't happen at a white show. By the way,
I was gonna, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, it's a black show, but we did it in Missouri. The white people knew all them hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, how do you make culture tangible? Because that's technically what I'm selling, right? And so I was like, that's what I'm struggling with trying to explain. And so I say that with
I feel the
MrBeast.
same way. I mean, because you have a marketing background. I don't have a marketing background. And so again, like doing things backwards, I always feel like I'm doing everything backwards. I can do a podcast. I can do music. But when it comes to marketing and figuring out how do I present this to somebody in a way where it would make sense outside of my context? Like, how do I get them to understand the value in this, and also what does this represent? Like, what is the culture of this? And I think like what I want my stuff to represent, what I know it represents, is the something bigger than me, like comedy and bringing people together and talking with people. That kind of the music becomes a part of that along the way. And so I know ultimately that's the brand. But how the fuck do I then go and incorporate that in the music and incorporate that in everything else? Like, I had an album once called Constellations, and I was doing this thing where everything was started with the word con, because Ruse, con. I thought that was fun to do albums like Continue, Constellations. And Constellations will still come back. But the whole idea was it was called Constellations Volume 1, and it's every single song is featuring someone, and it's the stars coming together to form a bigger picture, a constellation.
That's bars.
And it's the metaphor for what we're speaking about. It's the same thing, that the one star doesn't make the picture, but all the stars come together to make something bigger. And I think, like...
Can you keep that a part of your brand? Because that's what I would tell all artists. You shouldn't actually drop a full-length project if you don't have that. I think tours should always be connected. And I think at least every couple of songs, if you go back to that, that is why they don't buy into your music, they buy into the person.
The idea, right? And it's everything's concept. I think life is we are the stories we tell ourselves, right?
Call your fans, you're a star.
You're a star.
Hey guys, our community is a constellation, and I'm just looking for where your star is.
I call them roosters. I call them my chickens and my roosters.
That's better.
We're part of the coop troop.
Okay, okay, he got it, right? Okay, he got it. If he didn't have that, I still love the constellation idea, but that is also fire.
I like
way
the
more
star
unique.
thing too. I will at least like in the idea of constellations to say that everyone is a star, right? And everyone is part of a bigger picture. That is a great message.
That's literally a tagline. No, right? He just, if this was marketing and branding class, like he just made his tagline.
And this is what I'm talking about. I do this stuff on accident, and then I don't know how the fuck to translate it into a product, and that's my problem. And you guys, know how to do that,
and that's why you pay us. You ever hear Deion Cole talk about you don't write for Cat Williams? You listen to him talk, and then just say, "Hey, that's a good idea. You should probably write that down."
Right. Yeah. That's what a good producer is supposed to do. The problem is there's so many bad producers.
That was the point I was trying to. We got back to it.
Yeah.
He'd been in my head the whole day. I just got I was trying to explain to a guy, like, people think producing just getting people out. That's not. Like, with the struggle tour, I call it the summer tour, but for me, it's the struggle tour. And a newer producer was asking me, he's like, man, what is really producing? And I was like, yo, people don't notice it, but I keep track on everybody. Like I said, I knew about you before you got on. I've already worked in my head. I'm not going to ask you. When I reach out to you, I'm going to tell you how you fit in my concept and how you fit. That's one thing. If you ever see me in a business meeting, if you ever see me ask somebody something, I'm just trying to be nice. I don't ask when it comes to that stuff. And it's like, hey, you either can do it or you don't. Like, I told a headliner at Laugh Factory last night, you gonna do my show? And he was like, I gave him 2 dates. One was a Halloween date. He picked a Halloween date. And I was like, all right, you gotta dress up. He was like, you gotta dress up? He was trying to like wiggle. I said, I just looked at him. You're bigger than me, but you gonna have to dress up. You know, like, I don't care if you wear a suit, call you Steve Harvey. That's a guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a funny exchange, right? Like, I know he don't want to do it, but that mutual, like you said, to be a headliner, to be confident, like, hey man, you might be bigger than me, but I know how to produce, motherfucker. Yeah. And so like, even when we did New Orleans, I got about 15 to 20 comics from Chicago to come out, and they didn't know it, but I was keeping tabs on all of them throughout the whole fest. I knew every producer. I was hitting them up and say, hey, where they at? Okay, cool. It's a group of them. So they'll never know how much I'm doing. I was making sure they got fed. I was checking in where the food was at. I got maps to see where everybody was staying at. They didn't know that I was doing that, but say I put you in charge. You're staying in that house with them? Whoever I was coolest with, I said, give me all the names of everybody staying in that house with you, Airbnb. So you kind of know what I'm saying? Like, that's producing. They don't know I did it. They might not give you the credit for it. And a lot of times I was getting insulted because comics would say, yo, your audiences, your crowds are great. I was like, oh, so fuck me and the producing and me. I didn't. And I don't know if they said I'm being petty, but I was like, comics will compliment your crowd before they will your producing or your structuring. Like, I had a girl help me behind the scenes. You didn't even compliment the stage manager, or you ain't talked to her. Like, you complimented the people who had nothing to do with the planning or setup of this show. Because I have the best audience in Chicago. I'm telling you. When you do my show, you'll see you'll never have an audience like that. How does that keep happening? That's a curation. I created that environment. I produced it. I manufactured it. I taught my audience how to be a better audience. Most of my shows, every show that I do, it is somebody's first comedy show. I had that last night. So that means I'm their first idea of how to be an audience member. And they felt comfortable enough to engage. That's not regular. You know what I mean? So I wish people understand that's really what producing is. Like, you don't see me spam my shows. I hit people personally. That's not the best thing when I get mainstream, but I start the personalization before the show starts.
Yeah.
And so when they walk in the door, and I even tell my friends, hey, I can't pay you a lot, but I can give you some gas money and some food. Stand at that door and greet them when they come in, and I need them to be comfortable sitting in the front. So just kind of usher them, like, don't be scared. Like, every time they come in, I don't want to sit in front, you get roasted. I'm like, it's not even that kind of show, bro. We just finna tap in with you. Go ahead. And it's a trick. It's like the first 5 to 10 people, I always say a joke with them, or my friend will say a joke with them. So that's how the curation starts. And then when I start a show, I'll probably call back somebody who I talked to at the beginning of the show. I've even got the waiter to do flippy cup drink competition with someone in the audience who I was talking to. Like, just small shit like that. That's producing. You know what I mean? It goes a long way to create that. All right, bro, you said you were going to come back. I'm just pointing, like, I'm going to see you again. Like, I'll literally call you out. I'm also blind, so all my photos you see me is I'm pointing at somebody because I don't know who I'm talking to. Like, someone made a sound, and I haven't totally roast battled the wrong person before multiple times. But it's shit like that. So when you were talking about...
That's why his crowd work earlier, when he pointed at that person and asked him what to say, just ends with "fuck you." Yeah. He didn't even know what they looked like.
It happens.
There was no personalization, just "fuck you." You suck.
I kind of hate that that's happening. I'm also kind of known for that. Like, again, if a joke bombs or does something good, I'm just good for, fuck you, that was funny. Some producers, I had a whole comedy beef because one comic used to be like, hey, how about tonight you try not saying fuck you, like, try jokes. I was like, fuck you.
And then the natural response is fuck you.
I was like, is it?
Actually, you know what you probably did, if I had to guess, is you told him, yes, I'll do that, and then you just went up and said fuck you anyway, planning to do that the whole time. But you were nice to him. You probably were nice to him.
No.
Oh, really?
No. I
no.
actually was killing during my set, and because I was killing so hard, in the middle of my set, I said, fuck you, and I said his name. They didn't know what we were doing. And I went back to my set, and he was like, that's why I got no laughs, but my set was better than yours. And we had a full-on beef mid-show. No, because I would do stuff like that. I was like, I got enough laughs already that I can do a side quest and beef with this man. And, you know, for me, that's funny. And that sticks in my brain. Like, I've literally killed a 30-seater venue, but that one beef in that small room with 20 people matters more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I mean, like, in my mind, with it being concepts and all that, like writing these the roast battle raps, in my mind, so I have like a bar where I say name's Ruse and I came to kill stuff, running over comics, Nick Emica with the milk truck. Okay, so that makes no sense to about 90% of the audience, but they know that I did something and that it rhymed and it was good. But Nick Emica will know I'm referring specifically to the time he was ran over by a milk truck.
Jesus Christ, that's a wild.
And in my mind, that makes the whole line worth it. Because I know he got how great of a bar that was. And it doesn't matter. And I know for a fact, if everyone else were to break the line down and really wanted to understand it, they would discover that Nick Emica was hit. It's almost education.
It is. Actually, it got better as you told me the story. Like, I was like, I actually wish you would have, like, just so you guys know, this guy got ran over.
That's the thing, is the problem is, if I'm doing... That's what I've learned with the whole... That's the impossible challenge I have. I have to diss everybody, and if I'm not doing a diss about something, about their looks, like a physical thing, if you watch roast battle jokes, there's a format. The format is always... If you guys might not know about this, but so-and-so, X, Y, and Z, you state a fact, you make a joke out of the fact. Or you make a joke out of their appearance. Rarely ever. Maybe the third one is like to do some like different alternative comedy thing. But like there's a very by the book thing you'll see happen in roast battles. So in my mind it's like, well, I can't just introduce. I have only so much time. I have to diss everybody. I can't introduce facts. There's no time for me to explain it. So I just have to accept that some stuff is not going to, and also that I'm going to kill so hard that they're not even going to be worried about that other shit I said that they didn't fully understand, because it all balances out in the end. It doesn't even really matter.
Well, just know with my shows, because they're better, you will be able to do that. Yeah. I'm how do I say that? Because I know you're affiliated with them. I don't want to do it as much. I'm trying to create a style to showcase how roast battles are supposed to go.
No, I mean, like, dude, and I'd love to be a part of whatever you're doing. I think that what do you think they do wrong was what I would say. Like, what do you think you could do better?
It's white people running it. Roast are black. So not to make that a thing, but if you really think about it, roasts aren't supposed to be structured. Roasts are supposed to be unhinged in a controlled setting and manner. Like, I did roast battle, so it's not the thing. Like, I did it begrudgingly, but I'm not saying I'm the best roaster at all. Like, I don't make sense for that format.
Yeah.
Because I'm a street roaster, to be real. So when me and Melvin did it, they even commented on it. They said, oh, this is supposed to be roast battle. You guys came to cook. That's what you like. We didn't even really follow the 7-joke format. The better jokes were the comebacks, were the in-betweens. Like, you're supposed to set up a concept. It doesn't always make sense right away, but the follow-up, the through line, it was a thing. Like, when I got on stage right away, I dropped the N-word, just let them know what's up with it. And then the first joke was about his dead mom. My mom was in the hospital because I killed that pussy. That bit, like, they were like, do you want to start? Oh, we've already said like 10 fucked up jokes, and like I had a dyed hair, and he was like, that's why it's the Duncan, because he was like, all right, Dennis Rodman dunked his mom's mouth, you know, and like I wouldn't let his dead mom go. Like, it was whatever.
You gotta give me one. I have to pee so bad. Just give me 1 second.
But I think that goes back to
Well, roast battle and all
What
that.
I was saying, like, that's why I said, like, I learned I'm better at losing because I don't work in a formatted roasting session. I'm going to lose all the time. Like, when we do our out of town, we roasted for 10 hours straight. If you ride in a car with me, we're firing, and then we saw the podcast for all of us. That was the lead up after 10 hours of roasting. Like, that's how much hate is in our heart. Roasting has to come from a place of hate and pain. Okay, yeah. You don't plan a roast. You wake up, remember your father left you, and then you see someone who said, "Watch where you're going." What? Bitch is on. Like, you're going to the ground. And so, like, there is a skill. Don't get me wrong. People are way more skilled in structuring writing in a format like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a fluidity that's supposed to go with it, and you're gonna notice. And then also in roasting, I don't want to just roast you the whole time. Sometimes you gotta shoot the room. What the fuck you laughing at? Dress like this, coming outside all that forehead. The fuck is you talking about? Then you gotta take it back. Sometimes you're winning in this roast, and me shooting at the room will build me enough momentum to get that bullet right back to you. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't work in that setting, and like that tone, at least for me, I haven't seen many battles that implemented the vibe that was there when me and Melvin did it. The first, I did roast battle twice. The second battle, I didn't know that comic. We're cool now. But we met the same night. We met the first night, so it's a risk. We didn't meet each other, so there's that. But there was just a tone. You know what I mean? Like, it was a disrespectful roast, but it was a vibe. It was a vibe, So when you say what they're doing wrong, it's not wrong. It's that culture that they're not able to curate and grab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too rinse and repeat. And all of my shows are different, which is a struggle for me it makes it hard as a producer. But all of my shows are themed. Each theme is different. Every show is different. Every lineup is different. I'm specifically looking. I don't want the same acts as last time. I don't want you guys to have the same morality as last time. You got to put a certain amount of wild cards in, but I got to blend you. You know what I mean? It is a hassle. And even though I'm doing the same games for the most part every show, I have to make sure they change a little bit. So how do I do that, right? My goal is to trick you guys. If you've done my show twice, how do I make you on your edge? You know what I mean? And so that's why a lot of producers don't do what I'm doing, because that's too much work for them.
Right. Well, and it's I think it's counterintuitive. It's like what I was saying before. Like, it's the type of thing that's creative and there's ingenuity involved, but because of that, people are going to criticize it and say, well, why don't you just do the same show every time and make people more familiar? Why do you have to change it? Don't you think that's going to confuse people? I could see how people would come up with
said all that, by
logical reasons for why it's a bad idea. Yeah, but you're doing it and it's going great. So that's the thing, right? People will tell you all kinds of things. And so that's just, and there's a reason that most people won't do it, because it's hard. It's actually a harder thing to do, which is why it sticks out. It's why I think that's like I think that's why even if you work really hard and it never pays off, all the people who worked really hard and it did pay off, they worked really hard. And it's actually way less likely for you to not work very hard and for it to pay off. That's actually really rare. You just think it's not because you see successful people. You have to work so hard. You do have to, I think, do shit like that, where you pave the way for people. You change things. You're Walt Disney. You got to do that shit.
Steve Jobs, whoever else. But even
you don't got the answer, Sway.
Listen, I almost wished, if you would have known Marlon, and I acknowledge it. I was so Kanye back then. I was so wild. My business partner said the part of my issue is I have a low tolerance for stupidity. So just being a better businessman, I have to 2 + 2 is 5. I hear you. All right, but me, I'm like. You'll see, we did a podcast back in the day of a 4 or 5 time published author, and I said in the interview, don't nobody read books. Nobody doing books no more. And he was like, you know who you sit next to? Nah, who are you? All right, I'm gonna pass the mic to my business partner and not talk for the rest of the. I would just go places and disrespect your establishment. That's who I am. Ain't nobody reading books. Shut up. Nobody can, I can't even read. Stupid shit, bro. I used to dye my hair. When I started comedy, I had hair, so they call me Cisco. My biggest bomb was because I went to the South Side in front of a bunch of West Side guys and had blonde hair, a Master Roshi costume on, the whole orange thing with the white shorts. And I told gay jokes. Don't do that. That in that whole sequence, don't do it. But it was a challenge for me. I've learned a lesson. I've never bombed that hard, but at the same time, I think I bombed immaculately because no one booed me. They just hated me. It's a certain level of disgust to not boo, but to be frustrated that he exists. Turned his back on me. Someone was looking down. I was ready to have a billboard crash out like, fuck your nails, fuck your city, everything you know sucks. But they wouldn't even give me the energy to let me fight back. They just let me burn out and question my existence. Like, yeah, I should probably never do this again. But at the same time, it was a great burn. It's like, my bad, to wrap it all up, like, I would actually love to even partner like Roast Battle or Laugh Factory or Zanies. I don't want to do it consistently, but I think how these brands grow and don't get stale is when you partner with me, you don't have to do a lot of work. I'll just bring my concept to your concept and we'll do it. Then go do your concept for the rest of the year. I'll go do mine over here. And that's what I do with Big Black Comedy Shy. We only do our shows 2 times a year, but the collab is remembered for the rest of the year because it's such a huge, like, I'll invest in that one because I ain't going to do that same amount of energy for that. It's at the Den Theater. I'm not doing that the rest of the year. This is a specific moment. Like, we had New Orleans come out in Ohio. Most of my lineup was out of town. Imagine if everybody got delayed in a plane crash. That was the riskiest, literally 70% of my show were people that flew in that same day.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. And then they all met 30 minutes before the show to play games. And then our shows tend to not sell at the last minute. We got like probably 40 tickets an hour before the show. So imagine you got people flying out of town still with just 10 tickets. Like, I hope we make this worthwhile. And then everybody came late. Like, that's why I opened up my shows. It was probably 10 people when I started, then pushed up to like 50 or something by the end. I was like, why do y'all fuckers do this? But, so I understand it's the hassle, but that's the producing life. But if we all find a way to work in tandem, we can make better quality content and still make your life easier, and we can help everybody grow.
Well, and I think like it's just collaboration in the end. I mean, finding ways to be collaborative and work together, and finding ways to, rather than like, we are competitive. It's kind of what I was saying earlier about the balance of like trying to be the best and knowing you're the best and wanting to dominate the field, but also like, I think collaboration is the opposite of that mentality, and working together and understanding that you are just a part or a cog in a wheel. You're not as big as any, and nothing is. No one is. Like, at a certain point, you do, like you're describing, you want the thing you're making to be bigger than you. Ideally, that's what happens. It becomes bigger and it can support all these other people. And so, yeah, I think collaboration is the way to make that happen. And like, and then collaboration can be risky because you're giving so much away. You're giving so much. These people have such a chance to fuck it all up. And that's why you curate. That's why you collaborate properly, because you can't. But are you
prepared to give your IP, though? I'm also prepared to sell mine. Some people have to know is the reason why I want to separate Marlon from Variance, because in order for me to make, because I plan on being a billionaire, in order for me to, you can't get that at a point by owning everything. You got to sell it off. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg became as rich as he did because he doesn't own, 10, 15% of Facebook now? A lot less than 50. So are you ready to, because your first idea, your big money maker, to make the multi-millions, you're going to have to give that to somebody. So our like artists, they're not ready. I know I wasn't when I started. That's Kanye. What you talking about? Me? I'm the greatest. Fuck you. I got to give you a piece of it. 100% of shit. Eat my dick, right? And that's why I'm still broke with great ideas. And, now I'm prepared. So to say, I need to get Marlon as far away as possible because I'm not willing to give a piece of Marlon Hue. And because I won't, I'll always have a certain level of financial instability, because to make the most money, do the Drake deal. He got 400+ million because Drake sold his personal soul with his music.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that. Kevin Hart kind of does that too. Think about why you think he does so many commercials. He's selling himself, his production company, the idea of him, his intellectual property, and the physicals and the masters. In return to that, he's one of the biggest comedians of all time.
Yeah, that's the new critique of Jordan Peterson, I think, is that he used to be a guy who represented all this philosophy, and now he's part of Daily Wire, and he kind of sold himself to this right-wing thing. And it is kind of hard to argue otherwise, because you look at that guy, and you kind of know where he's going to stand on everything. And, look at that. It just happens to align with that network that he's affiliated with. And then, look at that. He's selling all these courses on the brand of Jordan Peterson. And then it becomes this weird thing where it's like, I remember back in the day when it was just college lectures.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird how, like, you can become... I think about it, I think I created this idea of Flanderizing yourself as a human. Because there's the idea of Flanderizing a character in a show where it's like you become Ned Flanders, you become a parody of yourself. And I think a lot of people, they get a little taste of success and then they kind of Flanderize themselves and become a parody of that successful version of themselves. You see it happen so many times. And I think it's almost like a test of your true character. Is like, if you did get that real success, what happens? Do you stay original or do you just become your greatest hits, or do you...
That's a bar right there.
Yeah.
Watch this come full circle. Because I'm about to tie it back into when we were talking about the deconstruction of talking less proper. Have you, your other podcast, have you tied up every loose knot? I think I'm trying to literally tie up every concept that we talked about. I'm going to tie it up because I like concepts, right? I don't want to talk this long and not try to give you a through line or finish line. We always said I don't want to be a caricature of Marlon. So for stand-up, I want to show you as much realistic Marlon as possible. Of course, jokes are not 100%, right? Acting. So when you see me acting, you're paying to see Marlon not be Marlon. We got to distinctly let them know it's not going to be me. But when you see me on stage, I will tell you eat a dick, and that's closer to me because I hate people. And so that's the difference. So I can give you the same person, and you're investing in two different things. You might not like hearing my personal thoughts, but you might love me as an actor. Mm. And then director Marlon is even different.
All right.
Right? Actor Marlon might not be as collaborative, but director Marlon might allow, because I got to let you act, so I might let you do your thing more. Scriptwriter Marlon. I hate people, so I might kill people worse than the script, but I might not want to act in films that have that much, you know what I mean? So not trying to be a caricature of yourself, but still be honest to all of your morals. Like, so I love romance films are Marlon's favorite films, but I want to direct more suspense horror comedy. Mm. So there's separations, but I'm still giving you all of me. Just like on that date telling that girl I can kill people. That is a romantic guy saying, I will love the shit out of you and kill every person that gives you a problem. Well, now it's become a thing. She has called me since then, and every time I see her, she's like, what about that guy? He's dead.
Yeah.
You see how close he is? Murderous. That's what are going to be our future vows if we get married. I'll love you until you go to jail for killing somebody.
And it'll be beautiful. It'll be beautiful, and it'll be a moment for all of our hearts to flutter. I was gonna say, I think that there's infinities within all of us, and it's a matter of unraveling them. So if you allow that to be the case, if I allow myself to find that version of myself, maybe eventually it happens, right? And then some of us are just better. Some of us truly are jacks of all trades that can do all these different things. And I think that starts with a great base. But yeah, it's really interesting how infinite it really goes. And just like how you can find people who are so interested in one particular thing. It's why I just love asking questions and talking to people, because you'd be amazed, dude. The things that people just know, people that you would never remember, but sometimes people will know everything about something, and it's just because they care, and something in them wired them to care about that at some point, and they just care so much that they could tell you about it forever. And that's my shit, dude. That's what I live for, is that type of shit. You
ever wonder why? I want to know. I don't have a consumer mindset because I've only been doing them. So I actually struggle, and I'm still trying to learn, why do people become fans? Because I've been filming and I've been a part of production since I was a kid. So I actually have never really been in the crowd for a show. I actually don't know what it's like to be an audience member.
I feel the same way. Yeah. And it almost that's really interesting. I mean, it's probably, if you're just someone who doesn't make things, if you're somebody who's not doing that, you still vicariously live through the creations of others. And so I would say that it's why comedy is necessary. It's why drama is necessary. I mean, you had plays back in the Greek days because there's something about watching people live something out in front of you. Jim Carrey had this great quote that I just never forget. And it was on his Man on the Moon documentary that was on Netflix, where it's talking about when he became Andy Kaufman for a role. And he was just talking about how he used to go to bed. He used to do stand-up all the time. He used to go to bed, and he would think, why is this not clicking with the audience? What is it that an audience wants to see? And the answer he came up with is, the audience wants to see somebody without any inhibition, somebody who's just purely being themselves, because that's what the audience wants. They want to just be themselves. And so they're living through you. Yeah. And I think like that's what the sense I make of it, because I feel like you. I feel like, you know, I've never really, like when I go to shows, it's usually because I'm like, I want to meet the people. I'm like the behind the scenes guy who wants to meet everybody and get to know everybody. And like, that's why I like open mics, because you kind of get to do that and without having to be like a weasel at a show. You know, they're all just there anyway. But yeah, like that's what I like. I'm not really much of a consumer. I'm not usually thinking, oh, I want to go to a show. I want to go to a concert. I'm usually making things. Yeah. I'm usually thinking, oh, what can I do next? And so, yeah, it's hard for me to, but I would say it's that. It's like if I didn't do this, how would I still express that? How would I still feel that otherwise? You know, when you feel a great song, when you watch a great movie, you feel that, I'm sure. You're like, oh, damn, like they created this from nothing. Like, wow,
I want to like verbalize
amazing.
that feeling.
Yeah.
Like when they can't explain, like when you said your dad was like, why are you overthinking it? For regular people, that's overthinking. But for like us, no, how do you inject that in a serum so I can get that feeling in all these songs,
right?
And get that fucking.
And then you become you're always breaking it down, like 24/7, to the point where it's hard for you to even step outside of that. Because I'm the same. Like if I watch comedy, I don't write comedy, but I'm always thinking, oh, why did that work? Like why did that joke? How do you get away with that? You know, like that's what I'm always thinking of the undercurrent of what's happening. Like what is he doing that's making this happen? Yeah. Now, often the answer is just personality when it comes to that.
It is funny you said that, because not many comics don't fully agree with me. And my friend said that, like, he said, you don't do stand-up, you do something else. I don't know what to explain it, but you do it and you don't. Because I don't want you to know I'm telling a joke. For me, if you do, I haven't got that joke.
I've heard people say about Shane Gillis that he has a good way of disguising his jokes. He has a good way of doing a joke format, but you don't quite realize that he's doing it. And I think that's a cool observation, because he has a casual delivery that makes you not realize.
and how the breakdown setup is he looks very unsecure, what he's saying.
But he's actually so secure.
So it's funny you say that. I make that joke because I know my appearance. I'm bald, dark eyebrows, beard. You know, if I don't smile, I look like I'm going to kill you, because mentally I will. So like I do what I call the gay hand. I'm very conscious about lightening my shoulders, my hands. I have to make sure my posture doesn't come off with what I'm saying, because I'm saying fucked up shit in real life. So I need to sound like, oh, I'm
counteracted.
I might kill you. I don't know, but I'll tell you exactly how I could. Stop it. And on the flip side, girls love metrosexual and gay guys. So I'll be the shoulder you cry on, because your head will slip to my. And then I told her that on the first date too. And then this is it's because I want to weave all the dots back of. It's slightly off track, but when I asked you, do you ever ask people about concepts that you've created? And we were talking about, watching movies. I was watching Ironheart recently, and that it was I don't get inspired much often, and it's little details. It's about science and technology coming together, and I noticed in the cover they left her right eye open. The Illuminati normally shows the left eye. If you just look in a lot of music things, everybody's covering that. So I was like, that's a detail that's got to be intentional, because you rarely see the right eye open and not covered. And so that small detail made me look up, and so I came up with 2 bars, and I don't know why, but I looked them up. It was like, make sure your left eye sees your right eye, but make sure the right eye is left. And I said, what does this mean? Why did I say that shit? And I Googled it, and ChatGPT gave me the deepest breakdown. I said this? And it's just, so that's almost an example of like, did art inspire that, or is art inspired by, what I mean, did the egg or the chicken come first? Because now I'm going to write some film about that, and I found out like your left eye is your more moral, emotional sense, your right eye is your more logical sense, and Ironheart follows a scientist, so she thinks with her right eye first more than her left. And if you look at it, we read from left to right, so we're emotion before logic. All the details, you can go deeper into humanity, and all is tied into that one detail on the cover of a TV show.
Yeah.
And there's so much more, and I can go deeper in that, but there's so much, there's sun ties to
infinities. It's the infinities of things, right? Because you could just keep going forever if you really wanted, and that's what's so interesting about it. Sometimes when I'm learning things, I'll feel overwhelmed because I can feel my brain just connecting all the dots. Like it's like the Matrix is making more sense. I'll feel it. I'll be like, whoa, this connects to this and this connects to this and this connects to this. And I know like it's because of the way I think and I just connect everything. But like, if there's the quote, once you know the way broadly, you see the way in all things, or whatever it is. It's just once you sort of know, you can kind of see patterns just repeat themselves through everything. And
you see the Matrix.
And I think like with what you said about the chicken or the egg, one thing that's really interesting about human nature in general, and I think politics is all about this, is about overriding this, is that we feel before we think. We don't know that we're built that way because we're taught that we think and everything makes sense and everything's logical. But there's so many things people do that don't make sense. But if you ask them, they'll have a logical breakdown of how they got there because they felt some way and then they made up all these reasons for why it actually makes sense. And I think that we're always doing that. I think that, it's why you see things like symbolism exert itself like that. It's why you see things that all just make sense to us on a subconscious level in this weird way. It's why what do you call it? Is it symbolic messaging or subliminal messaging? It's why that works.
The ultra mind, MK.
Yeah.
But I will say I do believe in the Matrix, though. I am the person who believes everything is zeros and is numbers, because everything. I believe we are in a simulation.
Yeah.
So even the way that you feel that way and that you feel that things, you know what I mean? Like, but how do you explain that to somebody? I've always said you can't explain to a homeless person why leather costs so much. He just needs warmth. He just needs clothes. So there's logic on both sides, and it's just simply, perspective. But like, he might think it's emotion, but he's choosing. He knows why leather costs and the worth of it all, but it doesn't matter to him. It's not that he doesn't, But like, people, I don't know.
But like in that argument, right? So like if a homeless guy, if I walk past him and he says, "Oh, you have coffee? Can I have some?" And I say, "Yeah, but there's hazelnut creamer in it." And he goes, "Oh, never mind." It's like, I had that happen. This is a real story. This is
really?
true. This happened to me. And I remember thinking afterwards, like, damn, bro, he's picky.
I'd rather starve, honestly.
But it's like, he must have felt like he must have not really wanted the coffee. He must have not really wanted it in the first place. Or his feeling was, I hate hazelnut so much that even though I love coffee and I want that coffee, I hate it so much that I'm not drinking. Like he felt some type of way before he responded. It's like if you offer a homeless guy, it's anytime you offer a homeless guy something, he says no. Like at first he's hungry, but then he says no. It's like he must feel so strongly, it overrides his entire hunger. He's like, fucking sushi, fuck that.
It's a superpower. Another thing I told the girl on the date, because I'm terrible with dates, she was privileged to have too much love in her life, and I don't have a lot. And
that'll set you up, right?
I'm trying to explain to her, like, hey, I actually happy that you live this life, but you need to know that that's a privilege and it's not realistic. Meaning, like, so basically I told her, you're actually more of a risk than me because I've had super trauma. So we don't actually know how you're going to react.
Right.
If you don't get what you want.
Right.
And I started seeing that click with her later on, but I tell her, like, hey, I don't mean to shut you down, but it's a very weird conversation to have. She has a very clear set.
I don't mean to shut you down, but you have a stutter.
I can't learn this. I told him he's not efficient, and my brother said that's wild to tell your boss that.
Yeah.
I think that's the most non-disrespectful way to say, yeah, we could be more productive. And he's like, fuck? I'm like, we could do more things more efficiently, and I can't wait until you trust me enough to let me create a system. And he hates, that was the worst thing to say.
You're a terrible guy. You're terrible.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Just so you know, you're a piece of shit.
I actually might title that "It's Me, I'm the Problem." I wanted to create my first comedy special, Menace, and then the second one, Menace 2, Menace to Society tour, would be, because I'm from here in Atlanta. First one in Chicago, second one in Atlanta. Just imagine the build up, and that's the DVD shit I was telling you about. But concepts, right? Like, and I don't want comedy openers. I want music openers, dancers. Like, I used to dance battle, I used to rap battle. Imagine that as a show. Now that's a fucking like theater show. You get to see your favorite artist or some unique artist, or every tour spot I'm putting on some different acts. So that's, all these concepts. Or I might drop a film. What if we're making a film during that time period? And if you come to the show, you get to see the first 20 minutes or something of it. Bro, just imagine these shits.
Well, man, I could talk forever. If I wasn't running out of time, this would probably be an hour longer. We could, though, at the very end, what we should do is what we always do. One, message for the kids. You got a message for the children that are watching this. They're on the school bus. They have been listening to us talk this whole time, and now you got to give them a little nugget of wisdom, of knowledge that you clearly have. So you're going to share the information with them that they can use, and they will take it and use it in their life. And then second, the last thing, but the most important thing, you give them the social medias where they can find you. They spent this time with you. They can go spend some more. They can waste their day away with Marlon Hue. Now, how do they do that? Take the floor away. It's yours.
Well, I hate kids, so I wouldn't tell them anything. No, no.
I would have aborted all those kids.
I am pro-choice, killing them. Redo.
That's a callback. That's a comedy podcast. It's a comedy podcast. It's a callback.
What's your message for the kids? Stop having them. Let me see. How do we sum it up? I guess I'll say this.
I think China's one step ahead of you on that one, too.
It's crazy because I do have an Asian fetish. Damn.
So Asians, come to America. You can have kids. You can meet Marlon.
They won't have any hair, but they'll have a beard. I think you guys need more facial hair.
We need more black Asians in general.
You know, where are they, right?
Where are they?
Redhead Asian black people.
Yeah.
You know?
We want a homogenous society. Where's all the black Asians? That's what I'm saying. You know, that's the message for the kids. Bring back black Asians.
You know what grinds my gears that I don't... I was going to say the worst here. See, then I'm going to take it too far.
Okay, I started it.
I guess what this makes sense... Don't think that business and art are separate. A professional artist is a business person. It's one and the same. To make the best art you can is to do the best business you can so art can win. Drop the mic on the cat.
And where do they find you?
You can find me, Marlon Hue. That's MarlonHue on all platforms. Variance Network, it's the same thing. We have a website. It's on all platforms. I wanted to say variance means to be every version of you. In every comic book you see, there's always a different version of that character because growing never stops. Any day you can wake up and be a different version. So every time you participate with us, it's the same show, but a different theme and a different lineup, a different concept.
Wow. And ruse means that nothing is what it seems. So you learn to identify things, right? That's how we spend our lives. We learn to make things make sense. But as I said before, it's how we feel. It's not really what the thing is. And then one day you'll realize everything is actually truly unique. All these moments, all these things, but yet you've learned to define them and you've learned to make sense of them. You've learned to put yourself in a box when truly you have so much variance within you. You have so many infinities within you. There is so much going on in there, and it's all just a ruse. It's all a trick. It's all a story we tell ourselves, folks, here on Ruse Radio. Bow, bow, bow. Clocking out. Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character that's calming